significant.
Nah, it's like a point nang of a percent or something
Exactly,
silly.
bro. And it was one of those ones where I was like, okay, next time I do dissonance, I'm actually gonna make sure that like I've invested something into my account which makes it worthwhile. Like let's say for example, if I went from CF4 to +7 or 11 or something, then I'll be like, okay, maybe I might give it a nudge because maybe that's made a little bit of difference in something. But like because
It's
I've
like
just
you're,
been doing econ for so long, that's like not really going to do anything.
yeah, it's your expectation. You do this dissonant run and you're going to get this big boost, and then there's nothing there.
Like I did my I tried to, well, we'll say like pseudo copy Preston's guide for bullet glass cannon,
Yeah, yeah.
and I went that route, and bro, it actually worked really well. Like obviously I didn't go as deep as his. Like he did pretty good explanation on, you know, how to set up for a bullet GC and that. But I did my little, you know, little weak towers version of it, and it worked really good. I actually was super surprised with it. So we got dissonance boost. So the 700 on tier 18. Originally it was like, fuck, I think like less than 200 waves. And the tier 17 might have been half of that. And I kind of just like worked my way backwards. And then my tier 18 on the utility fucking pissed me off, was exactly the same. But I think I know what the problem is. I think I actually run a completely different build to the original time that I did it. And then I didn't realize until I finished up just before we jumped on this live that like, oh no, I'm actually doing a completely different build than the last time. So I think what I'm going to do next time is I'm going to use like OA, some sort of version of OA, because I just run out of damage. You know, you've got no level skips. It's a bit of a given that like you're going to run out at some stage. But it kind of just pissed me off because I did like since, I don't know, 7 or 8 this morning, so like 12 hours. I'm mucking around with the dissonance and then kind of just got nothing out of it. And then I mucked my respec up. So my poor modules are a bit under-leveled. Had to siphon some coins out of it. So a bit of a learning
All
curve.
you got to do is focus, mate. Focus.
Just focus. That's what I felt like. Like once I turn around and it's 8 o'clock and I felt like I've achieved nothing after being hands-on with it all day. And I was like, bro, I made so many mistakes. We'll blame it on the meds. We won't blame it on the Temu Tower. Alright, boys. Actually, AFK, what's good? Xenomorph, JR, what's up? XL Daily. Finally got first place in Legends last tourney. Congratulations, mate. B Taylor's in the house. B Taylor's in the house. Happy 4th. Happy 4th. Is that for America? 4th of July?
4th of July, yeah.
4th of July. And what's that? Is that like Independence Day for them or?
American Independence Day. Fireworks Day in the USA.
Oh, that's their Guy Fawkes, is it?
Yeah, they go big.
What's Guy Fawkes like over there, where you are?
Yeah, look, it's an excuse to
blow up
just
cats,
let off fireworks and run wild.
I think
Mate, if you want to look at something crazy, just look up Darwin Fireworks Day. They have this one day in Darwin, and it is crazy. You have a look at the video that's online at the moment. Those guys have gone ape. They've got like firework cannons, and they're just walking down the main street, setting these off at everything. Cars are going by, and they're shooting fireworks off at them. Just bang, 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 bang. And it's not one bloke. It's 10, 20. Whole crowds come out. It's massive.
It's super soft over here now because like, yeah, you could just imagine. It's the same thing that probably happens everywhere around the world, but like people start wrapping it in bubble tape and all that. People are blowing up cats and fucking. It was real bad when I was at school. Like people would be blowing up rubbish bins and all sorts of shit, and then like yeah, they just fully wrapped it up. So we can only get fireworks for, I think maybe 48 hours or 72 hours. Like, it used to go for like a couple weeks or something, where you could buy all your fireworks, and then out of those fireworks, the ones that are left are like for the little sissies. You know, a couple little sprinklers and something that does like a pop and that sort of shit, but nothing like what it used to. They just keep getting banned. People just going crazy, but sparkler bombs are always like a real big one. Fireworks and donuts in the BA Falcon sculling a can.
Oh, mate, that short you put up the other day of getting Golden Tower and headbutting the phone, that was sensational.
Oh, bro, it's so funny, G. He texts me. We were like hyping it up like days before that anyway. And then he texts me and he was like, shit, it's time. And we're both at work, but we're at like other ends of the plant. And then I was like, hurry up, come over here. And then he's like, to your office or the balcony? I was like, let's go up to the balcony. And then I was like, you're not fucking, you're not doing this without me. And then he went and did it. And yes, bro. Because when I did it, when I was a little girl, and then I unlocked GT Plus, I had no one with me. All I had was and it doesn't give you like a pop-up. It doesn't give you any sound. It gives you nothing except for you click it and then you go, oh, yay, myself. You give yourself like a clap on the back, like a bit of a... But we all know... we all know what that is.
Go up to Mrs. Cloud and go, hey, love, look what I got. I got GT Plus. What do you reckon?
Babe,
that's nice to hear.
Wake up! We got a $800 clicky. I think I've set it up all right, but I'm gonna try something that is. I feel like it's super stupid, but I feel like I need to try it, just because I haven't quite done it properly, but it's actually been working out and farming a little bit better. So. And these are probably not the right battle conditions, because if I check the battle conditions, I'm pretty sure it's Death-Defy down. So it's really not the time to be trying to test Death-Defies. But I'm labbing another lock, and I'm going to lock package. Because I think it goes back to the last stream that we did, and then I was talking about... that trade-off between losing all my energy shields and staying alive longer versus the way I kind of see it is if I can roll Death-Defies off losing the energy shield, it might be more beneficial in farm. This really only applies for me in tier 18, so I could imagine, like, of course, tier 19, 20 and all that sort of stuff that with more higher spawns of fleets that, it's a bit of a thing. So, but I still feel like it affects my farms. Like, once all my energy shields are gone in tier 18, I don't have much time left. It's just like RNG based. So I'm kind of hoping that with an extra lock, and I remember like Greenie had did it a while ago, but how does this apply to Tawny? I'm going to just try and see what it's like not tanking. We all probably know where this is going to go, especially with a Death-Defy down mission. But I feel like for testing purposes or an itch that I need to get an answer for, I want to test it in this tourney tonight. And then that will just rule it out of the equation in that. I mean, like, when we look at the battle conditions for this one, and then the battle conditions for the previous one, on top of the changes that they made, which, call it for what it is, it mainly affects EHP players. They're not having a good week, guys. They're not having a good week. They're getting double hit with thorns. This one's protectors in range. Like, bro, they are really... Uncle Fudz is really trying to make a statement. Are you jumping in this bracket, PJ?
I will try. I'll try and time it. You give me the countdown and we'll go.
Yeah, we'll just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's do this, boys. Fuck, I didn't even set my modules, eh? Crack up. That is not focusing. Look at that, I didn't even set my modules. Alright.
Everybody I've watched today, they're all down 300-400 waves.
Oh, look, Taylor got in too.
Before.
Oh, is that just because of the... I hate Protector's Ultimate, bro, honestly. It fucking does my head in. I hate anything where you're rolling a dice. And, like, Protectors to me just do that. It's just like a roll on the dice on where you're going to... Like, how's it going to affect you? That's what Fleet's always felt like. Fleet's always felt like that. It's like, am I going to kill it? Am I going to not? So how have you found all the new tiers in that? Like, what's your highest wave highest tier now?
Highest tier is in 24. I've got 400 odd waves.
Oh shit.
This update, like, I know you're talking about, you know, the little minutiae of trying to deal with overcharge now and stuff like that. It's fantastic. Like, I've jumped up 1 or 2 levels farming. I've got to sort that out a little bit. But the coins and the shards and the jump in dissident runs, it's sensational. So, what's that down to? Look, I've got a good base all round, like a good base across everything, not specialised in one thing. So you're able to switch your strategies around a little bit, etc. But the biggest difference is I've been playing, I don't know, 18 months longer than you, and you can't catch that up.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You can't compare different people at different stages. You know, when I first started playing this, there was no extra lab speed. That's a massive catch-up.
Yeah, is that with the cells and all that?
Yeah, cells didn't exist.
Yeah, that's crazy, eh?
When I first started playing, modules were just introduced. And I would say, hands down, the biggest thing in this game is modules. Like my coins now, because of modules, like my coins, like the coins multiplier on tier 21 is over 500,000.
Whoa. What? What?
Yeah, it's insane. 500 big ones.
500 motorboats, boys, hear that?
On tier 21. It is insane. But that's everyone who's at that same sort of level.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
In tier 24, if you could farm tier 24, you're getting close to 1 million.
Yeah, that's wild, eh?
It's like really big. So the real, like, all these little distractions, people talk about the boost they get from card masteries. And you get a good boost. And the boosts they get from dissidence runs. Yep, great. And you get a good boost. The boost you get from modules beats them all.
That long game system, eh?
Yeah, it just doesn't show up as quick. Like, your modules go up, 1 or 2 a week. They don't go up, in a big hit. Yep. So it's those slow, big progressions that just accelerate after, a couple of years. And you've really got to be playing for years.
Yeah, I'm pretty, lucky that when I started out the game, I think I just hit Platinum. And I asked if, I think it's the daily mission shards. I asked, is this important? And then somebody said to me, where you are in Platinum, there was only Platinum and Champs. and he said, where you are, like, being in Platinum, you should have everything invested in modules by that stage. And then I just thought, like, oh, this dude must be on to something, you know, when, you know, in Discord you see next to their name and they've got the little emblem of, you know, which tournament thing they're in, and his one had a champ on it. And then I just stuck with it. And then any time that I got, like, a higher grade module, or a different module, or a better module, I felt the power instant. And then, like, in my mind, it clicked to, this system feels good, throw the kitchen sink at it. And I did a lot of the module stuff really, really early. Now, I don't think anybody knew that rare package chance mastery was going to come out, or things like fleets that are going to drop the cells in that. But at the time, relative to a lot of the guys that had an account started at the same time, my modules were from the level wise, they were so much higher than the other guys. And then, you know, just in time, everyone just kind of blew past me.
Yeah, well, like even Greeny's stream, when the update first came out, I don't know, he had 10,000 stones or something. The first thing he did was drop him into that, whatever that percentage multiplier, yeah. And he upped it to 130 straight off the cuff. Yeah. He dumped, like, I don't know, it was 6,000, 7,000 stones straight into that straight away. No hesitation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I always look to guys like that, like, for looking at things that make sense. Like, I remember I seen an update video from Crowbar and Greeny, and they did, it was like, when you get to your daily missions and then you get the shard type from it, and they had them set, which I'm assuming is an unlock in the vault, and then they had it set so that that type of shard was always rolling, and then just that, like, that massive accumulation over time, like every week, that's like constantly clocking up. And, you know, this game's a game of months, weeks, years, like that sort of, it's a slow burn. We all know, everybody that's watching this, if you guys are crazy enough that you're here late at night watching this stream, then you guys are just as crazy. We all know that it's a slow burn game. So, like, yeah, that acquisition of resources over time is kind of what really counts, that real slow burn.
Yeah, I got most of my most of my stones are in modules. They're not, like, I don't have a high damage in Chain Lightning. I don't have huge poison swamps, etc. If I get stones, it's all into modules. So they're all ancestral.
What's your substat efficiency on your core?
124. Oh, sorry, on the substats at 100.
Whoa.
It's 100 on the core and 100 on the generator.
How long did that take you to get it to 100? Because that lab's really long, eh? Like in the last X amount of levels.
Yeah, I've still got 2 labs of that to do, but I've done the rest. So I've got a substat for the cannon still to do. It's about level 15. And I got a multiplier for the armor module, and that's still got to do on that one. That's about the same, about 15. The others have been done. But as soon as they came out, I started the labs on those, and they've been going all the way.
And that was version 27? Wait, what version are we on? We're version 28, eh? So that would have been when the sys modules come out in version 27, eh?
Yep, so it's just started the labs straight away when that happened.
That is
and if you have a look
time,
at... Yeah, it's months. I think it's 3 months for you to do them at 6 speed constantly. But you do the core ones because the core ones will give you they'll give you the uptimes. What have I got as substats on here at the moment? They'll give them up for. That's where your main income from Golden Tower comes from, and it allows you to have it. My uptime on Golden Tower is 100%.
Yeah,
There might be 1 second down.
I've been keeping a close eye, probably for a couple of months now, like how people have set that up, and I can't wait till I get to that stage.
And then you do it on the generators as well. You do the multiplier for the coins. You do the substats for.
Get all your level skips and your free ups, and you get all
your free upgrades.
Yeah.
So my free upgrades are getting close to 300% now.
Whoa. Whoa. Oh, wow. That's crazy. That must make BHT go nuts. That must make it go absolutely nuts.
So for me, it's all about, you've got to get the coins so you can get the damage. You get more coins to get more damage, to get more coins to get more damage.
Yeah.
And you've got to do it for forever.
I suppose it puts you like in a good position where you can, what'd you call it? Where you've got something to safeguard against a change in a version that they bring out in the game. Like they bring out a version and then it might make the main thing that was helping you progress redundant. But if you've got, like you were saying earlier, if you've got like a good wide base and a good solid base on your build, it'll just hedge against that, or it won't affect you as much. Like maybe it knocks off one of your tools, but you got another 10 sitting there.
And you can flip strategies. Like it's no difference. Like I think, here's another stat which I don't want to tell you, but I'll tell you. Like I got 45 million re-rolled shards just sitting there doing nothing. So if something comes along, you can try something out. You're almost guaranteed to re-roll something just to try it out.
What is the highest level a module can go to? Is it beyond 241?
Yeah, 300 it can go to.
Whoa.
But see, I don't have mine I can have one at 241, but because of the multipliers, I've got them I'm not quite at the 241 stage yet. I could have one at 241 and one at 200, or 201, but I've got them both sort of in between. So they're about 230 and about 220.
So what are you farming? Are you farming tier 21?
Tier 21 and tier 22.
How's doing tier 22 treating you?
Yeah, it's not as bad as you think. But the only reason you do it is you just got a balance between the coins and the shards you get. That's what you're really trying to balance.
Yeah, 100%. I can imagine it's like that, people will just calculate out and what the difference is, and is the juice kind of worth, swapping at, or which point to swap, or that sort of thing.
The single biggest thing that made a difference in this game for me was having a cloud phone and having auto restart.
100%. 10,000%. 10,000%.
And then having free respecs on stuff.
Yep.
Now you can play different strategies.
Yeah, a little bit more freedom, but a quality of life.
Like the inner landmine plus build that's going around in the moment only really works with Echo Shot, and Echo Shot's what you get when you max out and you get Bot Plus, and Amp Bot Plus. And when that happens, it works really good. If you don't have it, it's not that great.
How many people do you reckon have been suckered into that?
Oh, look, people make bets, like even Ryan, and you got to remember, he's an intellectual guy, right? He's a PhD, he's at uni teaching, and he's doing his own PhD, and he thinks about this. You listen to his, when he streams and the videos he puts up, he is deep thought into everything in here. He even had a bet on smart missiles. So he dumped a whole bunch of coins into smart missiles, and it hasn't worked for him. So a lot of people are pushing into the inner landmine build, and they're saying, oh, there's this guide out here, we'll do this and do this. And they're seeing a little bit of progress with it. Guys like Greeny can go heavy into it because he's got the other tools around at a high enough level, which actually makes it really well, sing really well. And the single biggest thing is because Amp Boss Plus boosts projectiles, and inner landmines are counted as projectiles. And that's an accident by Tech Tree Games. They didn't mean for that to happen. They were supposed to just buff smart missiles because that's a projectile, but they've accidentally buffed inner landmines as a projectile. So woohoo, they've left it in there. And that's why the inner landmine bluffs build actually works.
Somebody pushed the wrong key on the keyboard, eh? So somebody pushed the wrong keyboard, like when they were supposed to put 2x coins in, then they accidentally clicked 5. And so it's like at that stage, because like all the Ultimate Weapon Plus stuff's super expensive. You'd be weighing up how much people are you gonna piss off in order to maintain game balance, or okay, this will be the final touch for inner landmines. It was already good, now it's even better. So the next tools that they're pretty much left with is what you'll be looking at: smart missiles, and then probably like another buff to Poison Swamp Plus, maybe to make the ticks tick faster, because like 1 tick a second is pretty average. Like, how many seconds do you want something to sit on your screen? Like, you want everything dead. So I imagine if we're like in a mode of them rebalancing modules or something like that, I imagine them changing what's the cannon? What's that cannon called? Havoc Bringer? And then instead of like the max multi-rend armor, like through the chance, I reckon it's going to be at the speed of the dot, or something to affect the way that Spotlight Plus ramps up. And then everybody who's invested in it, they'll just have a stronger tool for fleets. I mean, if they go to like move up, if they go to create like a new tournament league, which is where I feel like it's going to go, if they go to do that, there'll be some other stuff that I feel like they're going to change in order to kind of help that.
Yeah, look, everybody talks about how tournaments are a problem. I don't know if they are a problem. The problem is, or the thing that people want to get is keys. It's another currency in the game that the only way to get it is via tournaments. And really what they really want to get is the free respecs, the auto restart. They get those quality of life things. And then tournaments are not so important anymore. They're important for a different reason.
Yeah.
So are they that bad, tournaments? If you take the access to keys out of it, it's just people competing at a level for a few more resources that you can still get elsewhere.
Yeah.
So if keys can come from somewhere else, then all those quality of life things are some other way of getting them. Are tournaments really that bad?
Yeah, it's the access to the Harmony trio.
Yeah, that quality of life thing. And like I said,
quality of life, man.
As soon as I could put this in a cloud phone and then look at it once a day, this game was so much better. It was actually an idle game.
Yeah.
A few people complain about the free-to-play thing, but it was never advertised as a free-to-play game. You've got a choice if you want to play it free-to-play.
You have a choice. You have a choice.
You can go and play Solitaire on the PC. That's
exactly.
free.
Just as much as you have a choice to play the tower how you want to play, but don't fucking complain if your tower turns out shit.
But look, as a game, I reckon Uncle Fuds, he's got a degree in psychology, because whatever he's done, he knows that addiction path really well. He's got 100,000 people totally addicted to this game.
To killing shapes, of all things. Just shapes spinning around, little colours, pop bangs. It's real crazy.
And enough that you spend real money on a virtual game. Fuck me, I wish I
reckon
had
they
that
need
magic.
to add in the audio cues. Like when you get key unlocks and all these sorts of things. Like, you play any gacha game, and the audio is one of the biggest things. Like, that sound when that legendary armor drops and you've been grinding 8 hours to get the resource, but you only get 10 tries at rolling it for the RNG, and if you don't get it, then you got to do another 8 hours of grinding, and then just that sound when the lotto hits and that one thing you've been looking for drops, and it's at a 0.2% chance, and you just hear the shine of the armor. Like, you push the button and then you hear a shing. It's exactly the same as Poke machines. Like, if they added audio to it, like when you unlock the stuff in the vault, or when you unlock a new ultimate weapon or something, and then it just, like, a big flash comes up. Oh, exactly like when you pull a module. Like, they're almost there. When you pull a module, and then when it flashes for the Ancestral, they need, like, that sort of visual and audio cues, just to make these significant moments so much better. Like, when you get tier 18, and you're trying to unlock, tier 19 to unlock assist mods. Like, that unlock there should be a big flash. Tier 19 unlocked. Let's fucking go, boys.
Yeah, it should automatically post a short up on YouTube of somebody headbutting their phone. That's
headbutting the phone. What's the funniest part is when I watch that short afterwards, is you see I'm like shaking on him, and you see him almost drop his phone. It's just like grab on and start shaking him, and then see his phone go, like he has to try to catch his phone.
And the worst thing is, he's sitting there hanging on to the vape on the phone as well.
So funny, bro. I was like telling everyone, bro. Then the boss comes out, and then I was like, bro's running Cloud9 today, bro. Boss, he's fucking just unlocked something on the game, bro. He looked at us like we're a couple virgins, Like, he's like looking at us like, what are you doing, you puffs? It's like getting all just out over a game,
You better check your chat, mate. Your audience. You need to devote some time to your audience here.
Yeah, Taylor, 6 keys away from bots. Bro, that is an absolute huge one. Bro, that is so huge, bro. Sky. Cloud, is it an American slang for smoking crack? Maybe. I'm not too sure. I don't live in that side of the hemisphere. Down here, our CF spins the opposite way. Mr. Flipstar, what's good? What's good, Mr. Flipstar? JR, thank God I can afford rare package mastery. Oh, thank God I can't afford it. It'll be coming soon, bro. It'll be coming soon. Like, once you get those baseline unlocks and that stuff, you're just around the corner, man, honestly. It just, like, some of them are a little bit painful, because they might take, like, 2, 3, maybe even 4 tourneys in order to hit those unlocks. But if you just have trust in the process, and build up that good foundation in the Econ ultimate weapons, it puts you in a really good position. And that sort of thing is, if you think about it, like, for moving up into champs and that, is that a majority of the fellas around you will already have that stuff as a baseline. So it's a little bit hard, because like we'll check out the bracket now. So boys, we'll check out this bracket, and I'll go back to the yard. If you see somebody you know, give them a shout out. Not clouded. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Koro. Who's Koro? Tower. Zaradron. This is like a lobby of cheeky people. We got Taylor's in the house. 60s for full grave. Alright, this is where we hold the breath, boys. How many campers? Oh, we got 3 campers. We'll start with this dude that's at 10 waves because they can be campers too. Oh, fuck's sake. This is exactly what I mean. Tier 23, so we got 1, 2, 2. Okay, we got two lethal guys down here. Yeah, so when you look at your bracket, JR, all we're gonna see is this. When we look next to people's names. Now you probably already know this, but this is kind of what I used to do. So I used to look over at people's names. I'll look at the tiers and then the wave, and it'll give me a good indication on the milestone stuff that they unlock. So yes, we got their highest tier, yes, we got their highest wave, but there's some key unlocks around there. So looking at some of the people, so say for example, if there's, say, I think it's tier 16 or tier 17, and it's right down the bottom, then you know that that person's unlocked masteries. So you're kind of hedging against, well, they have the ability to access the masteries, but maybe they're not equipped in order to lab them. And then you might look up and then some dude's got tier 19, wave, whatever, and then you're like, shit, this guy not only has access to masteries and is probably already doing masteries, but he's also got access to assist modules. And assist modules, once you've hit the milestone, assist modules are just a stone purchase to unlock. And even at unlock, like all of mine are at epic, even at unlock, they give some pretty damn good power. So that doesn't help you when it comes to deeper information about the people's accounts. But looking at other people, the stuff that they post in Discord and that, and seeing where their baseline is, I think you'll find where you are at the stage of the game or where you want to be. Some of the stuff we covered over in the video is more or less just a baseline that quite a few people will already have. So getting that kind of goes back to what we're talking about, like as far as building a foundation and stuff like that. If you just have, some of it hurts to do, but if you just have faith in the process, just trust the process and just see it out, 9 times out of 10 it works out, unless something like fully flips in a different version, and then that kind of sets that as a priority. But most of the stuff, because mid-game is moving so much in the tower, most of that stuff's for like mid-game, kind of late game onwards and that sort of thing. But we may see in the next version of the game something coming out for people in earlier stages. Saying what's good? Pitapi's beating 10k on Candy Crush, bro. I got into the tower because I was looking for a Candy Crush equivalent for me to play, like, because I seen everybody else playing on a little phone game. I couldn't do any of them. I downloaded all of them and I couldn't do any of them, and then I discovered the tower. So what I'm going to do is, do I do this?
What got you in that, killed you in that run?
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really paying attention, Ranged. I got chipped a few times from some things. I actually think I got some death defies too. Oh, I got one. I got a death defy in there too. But I think like the protectors pulling shit into me, I think that's a bit of the pain. Thinking of I don't know how useful Space Displacer is.
Just show us your levels. They go to your assist.
So there's the cannon. There's the triangle. And there's the diamond. I'm thinking about taking the diamond to the substat efficiency to starting with 25. And then after 25, thinking about at which point do I take it to 34. I'm not too sure when that point is. I think 25 would be like an easy dub. A little bit of bonus, a little bit of angle, this and that, nothing too crazy. It'll more or less be the same for my farm, because it'll be like what, these substats here. So 20% on these. I've got a
See, I think what
you go.
We got to one day, we got to sit down and we got to say, you got to work out what your goal is for the next 6 months. Like, and then you got to build what you're going to do your spending on based upon to get that goal in that 6 months time.
Yeah, I'm thinking about what I do for my next like 30k stones to set up the build that I want to do at somewhere near the 100k stone mark, which would be like probably introducing a second damage dealer, but I'm not too sure. Like, my hope is that there's a change to either Smart Missile or Poison Swamp, and then I bring that on as a second, and then, but depending on what they change in whatever version, will depend on, like I'll give you an example. Let's say that they don't do anything with Smart Missiles, and they don't do anything with Poison Swamp, and they don't do anything for 12 months. That's far too long. So in my mind leads to, okay, well then you might as well introduce in a landmine, and then if I introduce in a landmine, then there's probably corners that I can cut as far as CC and my ultimate weapons. Like, I might not need so much CF if I go in a landmine, or in the hope that they do something with Poison Swamp, then I want a lot of CF plus so that I can throw everything into the Poison Swamps. So I'm kind of just in this weird little spot where I'm just going to sit here, pick up some low-hanging fruit, and then think about like what sort of playstyle I enjoy, or like what I want to see when I turn on the game, and then from there then start mapping out what that looks like, because that also changes what modules look like too. Because, you know, you got, like, if it's Poison Swamp, got Harmony Conductor, all these sorts of things. And then something like, not as ham as some people go, like into one specific thing, but like realistically, like 30,000 stones, like let's say I'm earning 600 stones a week, I'm pretty sure that's like 52 weeks. 30,000 divided by 600, it's like 50 weeks. So that's like a year to get to that 100k mark. So it's like, it's like, what should I do in 6 months, and then what should I do in 12 months, in order to kind of keep progressing forward. Or
so for me, the question was early on was, am I going to commit to playing this game for another 2 years? And it was like, yeah, okay, I like this game. I don't play too many games. I don't have a Timu Tower. I don't have Utopia and all these other stuff. I probably only play 2 games. So, yep. Now, what can I do to make sure I'm going to be able to play that for another 2 years? Like, I can't just sit there and play the same game on my phone day in, day out. It's going to drive me nuts. So I've got to find a way to make sure that it's enjoyable to play. So it's not so much hassle. So I've got to make sure first I've ticked those boxes of I've got auto restart. Now, I'm going to also want to get other stuff to make my life easier. So I've got to get all the auto respecs that there are. So I've got to be able to respec my workshop for free. I've got to be able to respec my bots for free. So my first goal is to make sure I've obtained all of those quality of life things. So I'm going to gear the tower, my build, around making sure I get that. So if that means I've got to get some keys, I've got to work out what my shortfall in keys are, how many tournaments that's roughly going to be. And I just build my tower around getting those keys. Once I've got that key, I've got that milestone, I can now do different builds based upon my next goal. And your next goal after that's going to be, okay, now I need to get more coins. I've got to get more coins. So here's now going to be my economy build. This is what maximizes coins for where I am now. Excuse me. And so that build's going to last me. I've got to commit 6 months to that build of building coins. Like you talked before about, are they going to do any more updates? This update they've done with the Workshop Plus and the levels they've put in there, if you work it out, even at 1 million coins, right, as a multiplier, like upgrades, I think to get to max out Coin Plus is 2 big S. I've been playing this for 3 years, over 3 years. My lifetime coins are about 150 small S. So for me to get, that's like almost 10 times my current income. So that's months. So I've got to think there's not going to be any more changes in the tower. The last changes were the assist modules. That was a massive big change. And that lasted about 6 months. In 6 months, you could do all the labs. Like for the guys who are ready to go straight away, they could do all the labs. They could get their stones and they could invest it and they could max out that portion of the game. A lot of people were getting to the stage where they were maximising or getting the Workshop Plus maximised. Everybody was getting to level. They had multiplier of 4 on all their coins. They had a multiplier of 4 on all their damage. So they're getting that all maxed out. So what they've done is said, okay, let's make it for the next 12 months. That's not attainable to get. That's just going to take that long to build it up. So there's another 12 months of gameplay. They had too many medals. So guys who've been, getting the medals for the Amp bot and the Golden bot and etc. Some guys had them almost maxed out. So what they did is add in another bot, add in more levels, and it's going to take, I've been playing in those years. I don't have anywhere near the same level as say Greeny does, who's had it maxed out. He's able to do different strategies because he's got so many more medals. The only way to get those medals is time. There's no other way to get that. There's no way to earn them. There's no way to buy them. You just get them over time. So that means that was a reward for those guys who've been playing since day one. So you've got to keep thinking in these progressions. So if I look at the game now, there's a good, I think, 12 months worth of, they don't have to do anything to the game. They can just improve it because nobody's going to get to the end in 12 months' time, or it's going to take about 12 months' time. They can start working on things, optimizing, putting other plans in the background. They may change tournaments. Yep. They may change little things around here or there, but I don't think there's anything big going to come out. They released Dissidence runs, and that was really good. That gave a boost for about, 3 months. And then most people have already got to the level in Dissidence runs where that's as far as they're going to go. Like, I think I've got them all up to level 20. And then to get them up beyond that, that it's almost impossible to get like your attack up to any decent number. It's almost hard to get the ultimate weapon one up to any level, because you don't have the ability to kill anything.
Yeah.
So it's going to take those extra time to build all that up. So they don't need. If I look at this update, to me, this is a 12-month update. It's going to take you that long to do that, and it just means people are going to go back in the background, and they're just going to do economy and just farm in the background, and constantly go. And the next change in this new version in August, which probably won't be in August because this is such a big update, it'll probably drag out to be a little bit longer, is going to be something around tournaments just to keep the noises down, to keep everybody happy who thinks they're unhappy because tournaments are unfair. What you're seeing in tournaments, from my perspective, though, is everybody is bunching. Like, once you get to wave 3,000 in a tourney, it's now pot luck. You've got 0 health. Somebody like Greeny, what he does is he does one run and he actually writes down every fleet, what it is. And then he does his run again. That's too much trouble. So there's a lot of randomness in it, but everybody's waves are about the same. So if you see a guy on, Ryan got, 2,500 something today. Tags, I think I saw that. He got 2,300-ish or something around that level. Everybody around those levels have got roughly the same number. Yeah. There's a bit of R&G factor in that, a little micromanagement. You might talk about a difference in, I've invested heavily into this Protector's Ultimate. So if you've got the card mastery for Death Ray, that goes through the Protectors. So if you've got that, you'll get an advantage of maybe 50 or 100 ways, but it's nothing massive. It's not going to change the numbers hugely. So you just know you're going to get these little levels in there. You're roughly about that level. The only way to progress is more damage, more econ, more damage, more econ, more damage.
Yeah.
So that, you've made me waffle for the last 10 minutes there. I've just gone on and on and on.
No,
but basically you were saying...
It's good because it's not just me who's sponging it in. For someone who's quite a bit ahead, quite a bit up the road, I'm sure that everybody else that's watching and quite a few people hit the rewatch too, just because it's at a crazy time in the morning for them. They'll be listening too. And people are always super interested in people that are ahead and have passed certain milestones and are able to share, you're willing to share, kind of theory crafting strats that can help them out too.
So to put it in a better way, more succinctly, is if I were you, I would concentrate on those quality of life things as my initial goal. So I've got to get X number of keys. Once I've achieved those keys, I've then got to build my tower. So I then want to go to an economy build, because once I've got those keys that let me do the respect, I can then, if I can focus, I can actually come to a tournament and I can respect my whole workshop. I can respect my bots, and I can concentrate now on winning or getting a good place in that tournament based upon building a new tower. Then I can go back to whatever my farming build was and let that go for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And that farming build, you're not able to do that at the moment because you don't have those free respecs. It's a lot of effort. But once you get those free respecs, it's easy. You just go bang, bang, bang. There's some presets. Tournaments are a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, like that. The bot presets ones are fucking, bro, 110 keys. Holy shit! Like I'm about halfway towards it. Like kind of where I was is at the start of the year, I focused. I spent months just focusing on Tawny, and then I got to the stage where I couldn't afford nothing. I couldn't afford I just building up shards. I couldn't even afford to level up any of my modules or anything. So then I started thinking, okay, the best thing that I can do is, if I want to continue to focus on Tawny, is build up some econ. So then when I go back to focusing on tournament performance, my econ can actually tick in the background, because it just went below stagnant. It was so so low that I would have to farm for days just to put one click in a module level. Like, it just, the balance swung, I suppose, too far to the Tawny side, where I couldn't do anything in my workshop, couldn't do anything on my modules. But I think, like, now we're getting into, when I went to the econ stage, I think since then we may be close to have tripled. We'll be close to have tripled our econ. It's in a much better state. That like, I think I've pretty much got. I've got no more econ masteries to do. I've got like maybe one click here and there for other stuff. But now I'll be able to lab my module. The module labs, because those things are expensive, and then as well as if stones that I get, if I put them into tournament focused stuff, whether that's tournament CC, or whether that's tournament masteries or stuff like that, then I'll still have the econ to support those real expensive labs that I need to get done. And then I'm kind of picturing it in that, like, because of the sorts of like build that quite a few of us are running, where damage is econ and econ is damage, then as that increases for tournament, it'll increase for farm too, which should, if we follow the path that it's taken us up to so far, then that should also translate over in farm too, like just that natural progression for moving up in waves and moving up in tiers and that sort of thing. Because I think I've taken a hiatus from doing tournament stuff for, will probably be about knocking on 8 weeks now. I think I looked back on some of my older videos to try to figure out how long we've been trying to catch the econ up. There was a bit of a struggle sitting there thinking, fuck, is it workshop presets first, or is it bot presets first? Because my heart wants workshop presets, but my mind says bot presets is probably the better jump in player power.
The reality is you need both.
Because they're both similar price, eh?
Yeah, you need both. So your bot presets will give you more tools, where your workshop reset will give you more raw stats. So you'll have more raw damage or more raw health, but the bot presets actually gives you more tools to actually do things for, like when you're coming to a tournament, you can micromanage it if you want. You can say, these are the battle conditions and I'm going to do all of this. Well, as you've said many times, you just can overstrength things. You can just beat things with raw numbers.
Just beat it with a raw dick, eh?
Yeah. 21-inch guns will get you so far in life. It's not. But,
like you might not need to know how to fight, but 20 and 21-inch arms will be a good start.
When Once Were Warriors came out, that movie, I just love that movie. It just opened my eyes up to these New Zealand guys. The first thing Jake did is he's shouting a crate of Tallies. It's a crate of Tallies. That's a show. He brings it to the table. Here you go, boys. And then they look at some big bloke in there with too many muscles, and they go, look, bloke, too much gym and not enough speed work. And watch this. Boom, 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 boom. And then they go home.
Is like every town has a pub like that. Our one got shut down. It was exactly like that. Like you could tell who's not from here, and then like somebody might bring somebody, or like somebody might bring, like, just say like a girl cousin brings her new boyfriend, and you can just smell it on them that they're not from here, and then you guarantee that one of the older cousins or one of the uncles is going to give them a hiding. Like, you just know it's coming.
I remember used to play a lot of touch footy, and we had a few New Zealand imports come in. They were gun players. This is playing sort of rep stuff for age. Old guys playing touch footy. Have some gun New Zealanders. You get them on the Terps and they start telling a few stories. Mate, the gang stories they used to tell, holy dooly. It's like touch football saved their life because it got them out of playing out of the gang.
Gets them out of,
and stuff like that.
Gets them out of getting busy and that shit, eh? Yeah.
And then you're sitting there and you're going, oh, you mean that movie was real? Yeah, bro, that movie was real.
Like, that was my dad, eh? There's one of my 12 dads. One of my 12 dads was like that. Yeah, it's crack off as. Alright, we'll catch up with the boys. Let's see, what have I missed? Flipster says halfway saving through the fourth beam. Fourth beam is massive, bro. And I was very fortunate that that it was spotted to me from the bro, because it was definitely a mental block. That's probably like the unfortunate things with some of the unlocks in the game, i.e. GT Plus or the fourth beam for Spotlight. They can be mental blocks, and you can just be like, I know I have to do it, but you're just like, fuck, it's so much stones, or it's so many months of saving just to get those unlocks. But you know, obviously there's a bit of that stuff by design. Do you have any tips to unlock tier 21? To be honest, I think I just unlocked it by accident. Like, I didn't try to push for it. I just kept giving it a nudge. When it comes to milestones and that, every now and then I just test. But for the most part, if your tournament progress goes up, then, you know, 9 times out of 10, somewhere along the line, your milestone progress will go up. So let's say that you get 1,000 waves in whatever league you're in. All of a sudden you're getting 1,300 or 1,400 waves. Then 9 times out of 10, your milestone has gone up as well. So just check whenever you can. Definitely those protectors are a thing. I'm going to switch things up. I'm going to drop my range. I'm going to lock my shockwave. And we are going to lock that. And then we are going to swap out the module and try to get some control over these protectors. Now, I don't think I need Space Displacer, so I might do something which may or may not hurt us, but we're going to swap this. Just have a little swap around, boys. Try to get some better. The Protector RNG is just killing us. Go like that. Whoops. Put that back on. Alright, let's try that again. And sorry if my voice sounds a bit funny, boys. Just dealing with a kick-ass flu. I've been trying to mute the mic where I can whenever I know a cough's coming. Yeah, so unlocking tier 21 or just any milestones. Sometimes when it comes to specific milestones, what's good to look at is the difference in the battle condition in between tiers. And then that can also give you a little bit of an indication in what you may need to overcome. For example, tier 16 to tier 17, they introduced Tank Ultimate. So sometimes a little bit of a counter for that, so they don't come in and smother your tower, is do your milestone at a higher tier than what you normally farm or what you normally do stuff at. So just little things like that. But as far as like when I unlocked it, yeah, I just did it by accident. I wasn't really, I'm not going to sit here and say like I came up with some sort of like epic strategy, it just kind of fell on my lap, and I knew I was close. Like I got like 220 waves or 210 waves, and then I was like, okay, if we get good RNG on perks, it might be enough to get us home. But I definitely wouldn't be able to do it without having some of the assist mods that I had. Expiry, what's good? What's good?
My strategy for when this release came out, this latest update, I had a look around and watch what other people were doing. What I did do is I respect the Guardian and just fully went into Scout, and that gave me an extra damage per meter. I think an extra 5 on the damage per meter. And then you can only respec that once a week at the moment, but that's allowed me to do all the dissident runs. So I just went through and did say no farming this week, all just been doing all the dissident runs just to build up the stats. And as soon as Monday comes around, respec back into fetch and summon, and I took a hit in the economy for that. Like probably we're talking, the difference between getting 130 Q an hour to getting 150, 200 Q an hour. It's a massive hit, but it means I can get all those stats up, and then respec it back and go back in. So if the dude likes to try and do tier 21, that's possible strategy to be able to respec all of those things and do the multiple runs over and over till he gets in and cracks it. But that'll give you, that's assuming a lot of things. Like there's almost no point in me trying to say, oh, you do this, this and this, because it depends on what the tower is.
A lot of it depends on stuff, eh? Yep.
If you got range mastery, by respecing into that made a massive difference. That, it increases your damage per meter significantly.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. And I think if you are going for key unlocks or key milestones and stuff like that, I think it's pretty common that if you needed something to do with a bot, people normally do it at the end of that event. If you need help from like what PJ was saying, if you need help from something to do with a chip, like a scout chip or attack chip, if you've got enough CC, people will do that closer to a reset as well. So people will kind of stack it. Like I first kind of noticed that strategy when there was the bug with the attack chip, and I seen people sacrificing their farms for the bonus that they'll get from fetch or summon or whatever, in order to just make that thing go ham. So yeah, there's definitely ways to do it where it might hurt you for a week or 2 weeks, or ideally less than that, but a little bit of a short-term pain for hopefully some long-term gain. All of it just like what PJ says, it just comes down, like, you just make a call on the stuff that you know, the tools that you have access to, and you know your you know your tower better than anybody else, and then you just kind of just do a coin toss and see if it's going to help. And then if not, then you know how it does perform, and then maybe where the shortfalls are. Like a lot of this stuff comes down to just staring at the tower. Like we get used to farming and we get used to letting it go AFK for 12 hours or however long our runs are, and then we get used to not staring at it. But then when it comes to switching something up or moving up a tier or unlocking something, you just spend a little bit more time watching it, a little bit more screen time, and then you can judge what the problem is. Like you might be like, oh, it's the downtime that I have in this, like my black hole downtime or something. So what I'm going to do next time when I try it, I'll try to plug that hole in the build. Maybe I need a little bit more black hole range. Maybe I need a little bit of uptime. Maybe black hole itself's the problem, because black hole can be a problem too, pulling mobs in, and then you run into chip problems. Expiry says, what would you say are the cheapest stone for damage multipliers you can get? The assist module one's pretty cheap. For the cannon, If you don't have the cannon, most people at least get core pretty early. But that all depends on your stockpile of core shards. And then obviously the masteries are bloody good value. Like Super Tower Mastery is really good value, but there's quite a few assumptions with that. Like assuming that we intend to put the time into maxing out the standard card lab for Super Tower. There's also the assumption that you've got pretty good coverage. I don't know where the bare minimum is that people look for what coverage is. Maybe it's 3 beams at 60 degrees. Maybe it's not until Spotlight 4. Obviously, the more coverage, then the better job that it does. And then you got Demon Mode. I'm kind of like a firm advocate that when it comes to Demon Mode, you would pick up the Demon Mode Mastery in 2 kind of scenarios. When you're purely looking for a tournament edge, or you're very close to getting automated demon mode. And I don't mean automated demon mode that it happens when you die. That's a really nice to have. But the one where you can manually operate it, because that comes in extremely helpful in farms. If you're doing like a damage or a hybrid build, like you just at least one stage during your farm run, push that button once, and then you get all of that damage for the remainder of the run until your next run starts. So those are the 2 sort of situations: people that are hungry for tournament performance, or when you're very close to the key unlock. And it kind of all depends on what your kind of situation is. But damage for sure. Damage is extremely cheap power for what it is. I'm pretty sure it's only like 700 and something stones. Mr. Flipstar builds a program which takes screenshots every 10 seconds of BlueStacks and sends notifications. Let's go. Xenomorph says, loving the wisdom. Whoever the man is on the stream. Peter's a beast, bro. Like, check this shit out. Hopefully we don't get chipped. I'm assuming Peter's not clouded. Look at this shit. Yeah. 24, 428 waves. Peter's a beast. I think version 29, they'll definitely do something with tournaments. And then I think, similar to what you said, everything else will be smaller from there, because there technically should be enough content for quite some time, and the other stuff will be either quality of life or some reworks. I don't think, maybe some slight tweaks, some nice to haves for the community, but for the large portion of the community, there's really a lot of content there. Like, say for an account like mine, there's about 3 or more years worth of content for me.
Yeah, and that's my point before. Like, is that much content? You've got to stay motivated, and that motivated, like, I imagine for you, part of that's doing these streams. Doing streams is a cool thing, twice a week you're on here talking crap with,
shit.
Some other... It's awesome. And look, you've got me in. You watch some of these other streams. I watch a little bit, not, but I still will sit there and I say, I can watch this guy and go to sleep. I can listen to the stories and relate. But it means, the reality of all that means is you play the game longer. And 3 years to play any game, that's a fucking lifetime. Like, what other game have you played for 3 years?
Yeah. The only other ones that normally sink you in are like those MMO ones, or ones where you've got a crew. And then 9 times out of 10, when you're getting to that multiple year mark, the game is dying severely. A very painful death, and you're clutching on. You're like clutching on for dear life, that, so I think like a lot of the guys, like even like your tower's age, or people that are even got even more years on it, I think they'll be super stoked to see the life that their favorite games got them.
Oh, it's, like, take somebody like Greeny, Crowbar Zero. Those guys have been playing since almost day dot. And they're still super enthusiastic. Like, that's really rare to find in any game. They haven't put the big post on Reddit, "Hey guys, I'm about to quit."
The old Reddit quitters. The old Reddit quitters.
If I take Ryan, even back in the day, those quality of life things weren't there. So he said he started the game, played really hard, and then lost all motivation because the quality of life things weren't there. And it wasn't until he watched some video and they said, "Oh, I might have a look back at that." I mean, he's hooked in again.
Yeah.
To so much stage where he's, streaming and making all of that stuff takes lots of time.
Yeah, hard out. And especially because people like him and people that are like at his stage, that are gonna put stuff out, like especially in video content, or even like posts, like let's say people that put out like comprehensive posts and stuff like that. They're a little bit more careful of the language than like just say a generic comment that gets passed on to somebody in Discord, because somebody reads it and then they just make a comment, "Hey man, all you got to do is this, because this never worked for me." But a lot of us know that a lot of it depends on a lot of things when it comes to towers and that. So a lot of those guys that put out the guides and that, they try to be a lot more careful with the language, just so it doesn't confuse people, or they feel like they get steered wrong, and then now it just fucks the game up for them. Because I was one of those people that fell into that trap. Like, I fell into that trap big time, and I followed a guide, and then I missed the key part on the guide. And the key part was if you were a whale. So I checked out this guide and I followed it, but it was specifically a whale's guide to get top rank in tournament. And I missed that key part. And it wasn't until my tower was miserable and I spent months and months and months, and I couldn't find the screenshots that I had taken and all the notes that I had written down, and I went back to find it, and then it had like a disclaimer on it, like, if you were to start now and you were to buy every single pack that ever got released since you were a little girl, this is the exact path that you are to take. And that key caveat was if you were whaling, which I obviously wasn't. So the pain that I would experience for, just ignore this, because it's only 3,000 stones or 5,000 stones, and in 6 weeks we'll pick that back up. So just focus all those stones into this. But that 6,000 stones to an account that only gets 200 a week is a very, very, very long time. So I learnt my lesson there in real time. And then from then onwards, I tried to look at, okay, how do we min-max? And how do we min-max that's more relative to my situation? And then you end up finding that a whole bunch of people are in the same kind of situation as yourself.
Yeah, look, I'll just take this opportunity to piss in your pocket a little bit and tip my hat to you. You're very, very street smart. And that comes out like in your analysis of what you're doing. When you do your update videos, the process of thoughts that go through that are sensational. They are really, really good. Shows that you look at it, think about it, hear these other things that have been going on, take them in, and then actually come out to a really good process at the end of what you've got to do to swap and change and go to those, to the goal you want to do. it's a credit to you. It's actually like shows you paying like heaps of attention and really thinking and analysing about what you're doing each week. Amazing.
Here you go, boys. And this is the part where we kiss. So we take 10 cent donos. 10 cent donos if you want to see us kiss live on stream. Nah, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. Honestly do. And I appreciate everybody that always comes in and shows me love. I think if it wasn't, I think some of the boys were talking about it earlier. I think it was in Ryan's stream. That if it wasn't for a lot of the community, I don't think for a large portion of the community, the game wouldn't have sunk its teeth in so hard as it has. Because there's that many cool people. That's why I try to, as much as like the common ground with all of us obviously is the tower, you know, killing these stupid shapes, and it gets us all here together. But I'm always super interested in people outside of the tower too. Like, what do they do for work? How many kids have you got? You know, what do you do for fun? And I think as best as I can, when we're not talking about the tower, trying to highlight that in people. Like, we all know that JR flies planes, and he's going to fly everybody to view live viewings of the motorboats. And it's like that sort of stuff that I find super interesting. Like, after we did the video where we talked, we must have talked about an hour or so before, and talked like an hour or so afterwards, and none of it's tower related. And I think all of that stuff's super choice. Like, we were talking about how everybody that plays the tower are fucking nuts. Like, to the degree like scanning through chat and seeing all the names, and you guys have been playing, you know, long enough. Like, we are absolutely nuts to be to be playing this game, a game that requires you to manually start it or whatever, or set things up, or constantly show up to these tournaments multiple times a week. Kind of like or else, like, you need those resources. Like, there's a level of, I want to say, discipline sprinkled in with a bunch of craziness that the entire community has, and the result is as a whole bunch of people that have become regimented, crazy, but also super willing to help one another out. Because it's kind of like, as gay as it sounds, we're all in this crazy rat race together. Like, it's one of the only games, especially with a heavy pay to win element, it's one of the only games where people will give you advice which will directly compete with them. And yes, of course, there's a slither of the community that don't, and kudos to them, they've put in their time and whatever. So if they got trade secrets, that's all good. But people will jump in your bracket and then say, hey man, I tried this and this got me an extra 100 waves, maybe you should try the same thing. And it's like what you said, Uncle Fuds must have a master in psychology. Like, the first thing I thought when I seen the battle conditions today, and I saw the battle conditions on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever that tourney was, post the update, I was like, I swear Uncle Fuds is fucking with the HP players. Like, do you remember that time when something happened? I can't remember what it was, and something happened, and it was like he punished us with the tournament battle conditions. Like, everyone was having a cry and a moan, and people were getting banned on Discord, and it was like, I can't remember what it was. And then it was like he punished us for it. And I found it, like, absolutely hilarious. Like, he's like, I'm going to get every single dog shit thing that I can find. And I'm just going to, like, I'm going to pick up all the dog shit off my lawn, and I'm going to throw it onto your fucking lawn. Like, just so you can, just to piss you off. And I think you're right on the money there. Like, there's something that's got it, that's got us all hooked. But I think the community and all the people that you meet along the way is probably the thing that really sinks its teeth in. Like, because a majority of us And like, this is a nerd game. This is the geekiest fucking game in the world, or pretty damn close to it, you know. All incrementals are super geeky. All YouTube channels that are based for incremental games are super geeky, and we're like a whole bunch of geeks that are just fizzing out on numbers going up. I think it's a super. There's some good videos out on YouTube that I really wanted to share at some stage on the channel, but it's based around the psyche of people that are into incremental games. Like that, they just the wiring is different to what spins the cogs in their head versus something like, let's say, an FPS shooter or something like that. I just find it super interesting.
I remember back in the day, geez, it's setting alarms around lab times because there wasn't the auto restart. There wasn't the auto restart.
No auto restart on the lab. Do you know what I didn't know? We eventually got the auto restart on the lab. I didn't know that you could swap labs at any time before the auto restart of the lab. So if I didn't set an alarm, I used to gem rush the last chunk of level, like say these last 2 days, and I'll be like, oh no, it's going to finish at this time, I'm probably going to be asleep. So I gem rush that to start the next level, or to gem rush it and then pause that and then swap a lab out, and it like, honestly, for the longest time. And then I looked at my labs and I was like, I put it in Discord and said, guys, just a tip, if you don't know, you can swap your labs out at any time. And somebody was like, yeah, didn't you understand what the green thing is that's next to the lab? That means that you've already labbed some of it out. I couldn't believe it. I was like, all of this time, the amount of sleep that I've ruined, and I didn't even know that you could swap them out. I couldn't believe it. I felt so stupid.
My best story on a mistake is when I started playing, I didn't know about Discord or any of these things going on. I'm just playing. So totally whatever crazy idea popped into my head, that's what I was doing. And then all of a sudden I found all these posts and articles people had written on what you got to do. And they're all talking about changing the range. And I've gone, oh, I'm fucked. I've actually done a few lab levels in my range. I can't do that anymore. And then it wasn't till like almost a year later I found out you had an adjustment on the range. And I thought, I've been playing for almost 18 months and I didn't even know you could do that. It's just nuts. But I'm still playing, even after all of that. That's enough for me to make a Reddit post and say, thanks, guys, but, it's pissed me off enough.
It's pissed me off.
I'm not going to play anymore.
I'm not playing, and you can all go to hell, and I hate this game, and I hate the devs.
Woe is me. Attention.
What games did you play before the tower?
Oh, look, I've always liked tower defense games, but the only other game that's hooked me for a long time is Clash Royale. That's my, play for 5 minutes, get my, battle somebody. Yep. I'm no good at that game either. But I think I played it from when it first had its first beta. Would you believe it or not, I was in Japan and one of my kids said, oh, look at this game. So we downloaded the version. And I remember about a year later or something, I had to try and update the version and they wouldn't let me because I was back home. And I said, but you've got a Japanese version. And, and I had to write them a letter. I had to write them an email and say, this is why and this is what happened. And they said, oh, all right, we'll let you change over, but we'll only let you do it once.
Because of the Play Store or whatever.
Yeah, it was because I was in Japan at the time when I downloaded it. And it was only because one of my kids said, oh, have a look at this game. This is really good. So we're sitting waiting for a train and we're playing this game trying to work it out. But that's probably like other tower defense. There was a little game on phones when phones came out, when iPhone came out, was called Geo Defense or something like that. It was little squares and you had to, it had only had 30 levels and you used to have to put your towers in spots and whatever else. It was just an awesome game. Then the developer didn't update it. That was back when, there were 99-cent games.
Yeah.
You paid the one fee and that was it, and then you played it forever. It was awesome. But I'm not into... I had too many things going on in the real world to, my kids are really good at games, mate. They're really good at first-person shooters. I can't use a PlayStation joystick for the life of me. I can use a keyboard and mouse. Like, give me Doom, Network Doom. I can play the crap out of that game with a keyboard and a mouse, but I cannot use an Xbox controller. I just can't get my thumb around the joystick and move freely. It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah. I always played games as kids, and then I didn't play any games like 10 or 15 years or something. And I remember one day we disappeared, me, my wife, and one of my mates. We disappeared up to my cousin's. He lived like a couple hours away, and we went up for the weekends. Or actually, I think it was a road trip with just me and my mates. I think I lost my license. So to go celebrate, to go feel sorry for myself and celebrate losing a license, went away, and I think it was the next day, and we're all hungover. And I remember seeing my cousin playing like a shooter game, and he was talking. He had a headset on, and he was playing like Call of Duty or something. And then he was talking away, and I was like, "Who the fuck are you talking to?" And he's like, "Oh, these cunts online." And I was like, "Who are these cunts?" And then he's like pointing to the other fellas on the screen. And then I was like, "Give us a listen," and I could hear them talking. And then I was like, "Where are these cunts?" And he's like, "In their house." And I was like, "What do you mean in their house?" And he's like, "Oh, we're playing it online." I was like, "What, on the internet?" And he goes, "Yeah, you get your console, plug it to the internet, and then you fucking play with these cunts." "Oh, so where are they?" "Oh, in their own home, you dumb cunt." And then like the first thing I did when I got back is I went and bought me a console, and then I jumped online, and then it was kind of game over from there. But like right around that window is all my circle. We're all getting into the shit, getting into heaps of shit. And then I kind of thought, I'll kick back at home, got young kids and that sort of stuff, and there's only so many movies you can watch, so I'll just jam online, and then I just chilled out online for ages. And then something happened, and I remember one day I finished gaming. I was gaming all night till like early hours in the morning. I fucking crashed out after a big stint on the game. And then this dude come around to rob us or home invade, whatever you want to call it. And like I woke up super disorientated, like as you can imagine, you're full on asleep, deep sleep, and then now some dude's coming into your house. My wife's screaming, don't know where the kids are, fucking dog's losing it, trying to reach for any weapon, running out, like just imagine in the full fog of war, like what those emotions feel like. And it gave me like mad PTSD, and it sounds like cringe as to say like, oh, it gave me PTSD, but like honestly it fucked me up like big time. Like I kept like any little noise, like now it's to the point where we'll say like 15 years later, and I still to this day, there is not allowed to be one sound in the house when I go to sleep. Like it needs to be a pin drop. Like I can't even have a dripping tap on the other side. I need absolute silence to go to sleep so I can hear everything. And it's like, that's kind of like what it did. And I remember like I was sitting there and I was in a phase, and I jumped online and I went into my account and I like looked on my Call of Duty account, and there were like multiple accounts that all had X amount of days of gameplay time. And I remember sitting there looking at that, like looking at those numbers and going, fuck me, if I put that into something positive rather than consuming so much time in a game, I could have been not only in a better position in my life, but I could have been in a better position had shit gone pear-shaped when this dude into my house. And I remember going into a shower, pop some cans, start drinking, whatever. I remember going into a shower and then looking in the mirror and then like looking at myself and just staring at myself like, what would you have done had he made it to your room and you had nothing but your bare hands to get this cunt, and he's coming equipped. And then it just kind of like flipped a switch in my brain. And then like that was it. Quit gaming, everything. Said to the boys, fuck, I'm not touching this. And then just started training like all the time. And just always been in that mind state of like, you don't know when something will happen. But if something happens, you probably want to be in a better situation than then some cooked ass gamer who's done nothing but talk shit on Call of Duty and play hours and hours on end. You should probably have like as a father or as a man, you should be equipped to fucking rip somebody's throat out with your hands. And then that kind of shaped many years to come, like to the point where doing stuff like training or working out or anything, it's more of a mental thing. Like it's not like a physical thing, trying to live longer or whatever, like you see shit on the internet where these cunts are like, yeah man, and then you just gotta like look after your soul, and because your body connects it, it's like none of that shit. It's all mental now. It's all mental. Like the other day we're out there and we're on the pads, me and my son, like boxing bag pads, all that sort of shit, good fitness. And like I always like wind my son up, and then like I go to my son like, you know what we're doing to train this for? And he's like, what's that? We're training to fight fucking crackheads. Because those cunts are fucking, those cunts are immune to anything, eh? You punch them fucking 300 times, eh? And they're not gonna feel nothing. Not gonna feel anything. Like, yeah, I always like wind them up. Like we'll do stuff like, I don't know if you can see that if you're on the camera at the moment, if you're watching the stream, but we'll get like bands, we'll draw it across like this. Where's the camera? I'll draw the bands across like that, and then I'll be like, do you know what this is training for? My son will be like, what's that? I'm like, backhand your wife when she don't do her chores. Or we got this, I got one of those things that straps onto your head and you hook it up to cables, and then you plug like the weights in whatever, different directions, whatever, and then all you do is you hook it up like that, and then you go like that, and then it trains like different parts of your neck. And I go to my son, do you know what this one's training? And then he's like, oh, what? I'm fucking training to suck dick. he's like, what the? He's like, what the fuck? Well, we always have a little fun stuff like that. But then, so then I stopped gaming for ages. And then, like, I just slowly over the years pick gaming back up, get into ARPGs, all that sort of thing. And then, fuck me, man, just run out of time, eh? Like, just no time. So then when I go to work, I get a different job, like a different position in work. And then I see everybody playing Candy Crush when they have smokes on the balcony. Like the rest of the people in management, like the whole management all were playing phone games. And then, so then I start looking for a game to play in Smoko. And then like 2 weeks later, after I've downloaded like every single one in the sun and uninstalled it, Uncle Fuds runs an ad against me for the tower, and then it's game over. And then it just sunk its teeth into me. I played it for like, as soon as I downloaded it, I played it for like 2 days straight. Like straight, I mean like watching it, taking it everywhere with me, take it out to the gym with me to click on health or damage, take it to the shower with me, mid-shower, flipping it up, like melted a phone, like all sorts of shit. And then it just, yeah, the rest was like kind of history. And then now, it has me super intrigued in these types of games, because these types of games suit my life, where there's something that I can tap in and tap out of. I can have a bit of fun, or when I'm working or when I'm doing something, my mind is like distracted from some of the monotonous chores at work that you have to do, where I'm sitting there thinking about what is this problem that I've discovered in this current portion of the game, and what am I going to do to solve it? Like, how am I going to break through this plateau or this problem of it? And then, you know, for the most part, I think a lot of us just call that the theory crafting. I just sit there theory crafting, like, how am I gonna overcome, you know, the kind of problems that's ahead of me. And that's what I feel like this game's good at. This game's good at having you think without having to be stationed. Bro, how did he just roll right through that? What the fuck? Like, it just gets you thinking, but you don't have to do like a 10-hour stint sitting in front of it to think. And that's what I really enjoy about like this actual game, and that.
Yeah, I'd hate to see the amount of hours like wasted. Well, not wasted, sorry. Look, it's an enjoyment factor. You get an enjoyment out of it. So I've got so much dopamine hit out of playing this game. But I'd hate to try and tally that up. I'd be embarrassed if I looked at it and somebody said, "How long have you been playing that game for?"
What's your wife think?
You've been playing for that. Well, the stories you're telling, I used to think I was a crackhead because I was carrying around this phone that had to be running 24/7, hiding it under the pillow. Oh, fuck, it's going to run out of power. I've got to put the power in. And then I thought, no, hang on, I can actually transfer it to another phone. Hang on, let's get a little iPad and we'll run it on a little iPad. Oh, yeah, good, we can save and put it on the iPad. Now the iPad's running 24/7, and now, well, hang on, I've got to catch a plane. How the fuck do I put it on the plane? What do I do with that? And, you know, because you used to be able to start the game and it didn't have to be online. So you used to have to start the game and make sure you were on before you went through security, and you didn't want to have to turn your phone off during security. It still had to be playing. So you put the phone in your little backpack, make sure it wouldn't be knocked because it's still running, and goes through the security camera, through the metal detectors, all of the x-ray machine, pick it back the other side, make sure you're working. Yep, aeroplane mode, yeah, that didn't matter. And then he made a change that it had to be online, because from memory that change was because people were fudging the system. You could
using exploits and shit.
Yeah, I think it was a re-roll shard exploit, because what you could do is you could re-roll, and if you didn't like it, you just restart the game and you had all your shards still back. You spent 1 million re-roll shards, you could do it again until you got the substat you wanted. There were lots of little things like that early on. And mate, you say, what did your wife think? She probably still thinks, yeah, here I am. Here's this old bloke staying up for fucking whatever hours on a Saturday night. It's obviously got nothing better to do with his life. He's talking to some bloke across the ditch, and shit about fucking a game.
Killing cubes on a screen, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. My missus always like, I suppose she finds the game weird, but I think to her, it's like, I'm at home and I'm safe. You know what I mean?
And I'm sure there's a realisation that you're doing something you enjoy. And
there's plenty
like
of bullshit people could be getting up to instead of talking on a stream on a Saturday night.
Yeah, JR said something before, Junior said something before about, you know, as an addiction, it's a pretty good addiction. It's a pretty innocent one, or something to that effect.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, you know, even if you spend money on it, it's not like you're staying awake for 3 fucking days, becoming a junkie. You know what I mean? You're using, like, if money is fun tokens, you're exchanging your fun tokens for what you see as fun. And if we all end up quitting the game in X amount of time, you know, then, like, at least the time that you've had, you've kind of enjoyed it. Like, there's only a few games that I've sunk money into, and I have a pretty bad relationship with pay to win games, that I like hate that I spent money in it. Like I treat it as like, yeah, it's fun tokens, and you know, how much money does it cost me a night out? You know, way more than what I put into the game. But some of them, like, I hate, and that's just because I hate the devs for what they did to ruin the game. And it's like, I could still be enjoying that game if they didn't fuck with it and ruin it, and then that's when I feel like my money's been lost. But they're like completely different games than like what this is.
I must admit, when LD Cloud came out, I saw someone running that. I didn't know those things existed, that you could have a virtual phone.
Neither did
But when that
bro.
came out, that is sensational. That changed this game.
Game changer.
It really did. That with auto restart, and can put it up there, and you can just leave it. Now, my life is so much more relaxed in this game.
Same.
You know, if I don't touch it for 3 or 4 days, it's no worries. The only thing I'm missing out on is a few gems here or there.
I wish that these guys had their own cloud service, but I could understand like why they wouldn't, and why it would make people mad, and this should be free, and, or, you know, whatever. But it's money that everybody that's running cloud phones, it's money that we're pissing away to some other overseas company that's farming, you know, broken down cell phones or servers and all that other shit that could otherwise go back into their pocket.
You know, last week you were talking about, you were trying to work out, you know, you were boring us with mathematics. You were trying to work out how many players there actually were. Mr. Flipstar, and he's a coding genius that he is, did you see one of his little shorts?
Oh, that like 90 or 100,000 people entered the tournaments?
Yeah. So there was, it's interesting, there was a couple million downloads or something, but effectively there must be around 100,000 active players.
So...
and I know people like, you could actually work out how much is roughly being spent, because like, I don't know if people really understand how much it costs to develop games and run a company.
Oh, just even hiring technicians, eh? Like,
well, look,
like
he's got it.
Paying people 150k a year, or times how many of those people, even down to the janitor, insurances, all your health and safety for, you know, your fire codes. Then over there in the States, they'll have state taxes, and, you know, like, fuck.
Yeah. Look, you get to $1 million straight away. No worries. So when you think of the, you know, what people are spending on the game, it's actually not, you know, it's, I don't know, that people keep talking about Fudge Yacht. I don't think he's got too many yachts, to be fair.
He's probably living off Grizzlies and 2-minute noodles, eh?
There was once, I think Crowbar Zero had an interview with him. I don't know, it's back on his channel somewhere back in the day, but there's a half-hour interview with Uncle Fuds. You actually get to hear his real voice and back in the day and how he started, and it's actually quite interesting to listen to.
Yeah, I think he's extremely smart for taking the back seat from the community and putting himself, you know, like, we'll put it in a way that he puts himself in the background as like the Wizard of Oz, and then he throws Sam at us, cousin Sam, as like the fairy godmother. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably one of the best things that he could do for his own mental sanity, because as much as you need to keep your thumb on the pulse, keep your ear to the streets and that sort of thing, he also should keep a clear head in order to execute his vision and get his devs, or the people that are a part of his team, to stay away from the noise, execute the vision, send the fairy godmother out to temp check and to just feel the vibes, and then like kind of have the direction and what he wants the game to go. but get these little temp checks reported to him every now and then. Just let me know how everything's kind of going, but there's no point in him jumping in and having arguments and stomping out stuff. Like, as much as people appreciate it, like, I just relate everything to like what I know from work, and it would be stupid if the number one of our company was in here dealing with day-to-day gripes of staff moaning that this machine never works, and then I'm not paid enough, and I don't like this and that. You know, it's no good. It's not gonna help them and whatever they feel their vision is for the game. And we just saw the hamsters on the wheel for that vision, whatever that vision is. That's why I find this patch so interesting. This is like, out of all the patches that we've had, this one makes my mind tick over quite a bit. And because if I sit there and think, okay, what was the intent of that? And I try to imagine what the intent was, then the next thing my mind leads to is what's coming for us. Like, we don't get thrown lifeboats, or, you know, like you've watched all of my streams. How many times has things like Overcharge just full run kill ended me, and then now that problem's gone? I'd already be dead now to multiple overcharges. Now I'm just dying to Protector's ultimate. So it makes me think, okay, what's next installed for us to bring that threat back to the forefront? And then that's where my mind kind of leads to, I feel like it's a new tournament, and I feel like the Fleet Ultimate is the main thing in that tournament. So I have until whatever stage that is, as far as like a length of time, to create something to solve that problem, or think about or just analyze how other people are solving that problem, because at some stage that will be my turn to go and feel that pain.
Well, do you know what you've managed to do? You've managed to get another great marshmallow bracket. I think you're coming 6th at the moment.
6. So that would go... Oh, look. So close to this dude. 1339. So we've got 2 places, so it'll be sitting there in 8. Why is... Because the other one earlier this week, I ended up settling for 7th. I don't know why. Like, I don't know. Like, I know that these are probably softer brackets, but relative to all the rest of the tourneys, it's a big jump. So I can only put it down to 2 things: marshmallow brackets, or people aren't adjusting to the update, or they are adjusting to the update. It must just be marshmallows, eh?
Yeah, but if you have a look at your stats back there, you're fairly consistent for the last few weeks. Like, the number of waves you've got is very consistent. It's all 13 something.
So if we go back here to... Oh no, that's June. So I stopped doing tournament stuff back in June, May. So somewhere around here, I stopped doing tournament specific moves. And we're about, I want to say, a week or 2 off gearing back into that. So that's like more CC, more tools, probably some good ROI. I sit there thinking about these masteries. I think like CF7. I think 2 poison swamps for added stuns. I'm just waiting a little bit with the poison swamps because it's really hard because a lot of people that have a lot of this stuff, they're like super advanced, and then they talk about stuff like I heard Tags talking about stuff like turn stuff on, turn stuff off, and do this and do that, and I'm like, whoa, that sounds way too much micromanagement for my little brain. And at some stage I have to think about, like what you touched on earlier, is the direction that I want to go with assists and what that looks like. Like for Dimcore, I have 2, and we all know my relationship with Dimcore. It is a very painful and I'm struggling. So then I sit there and think, well, fuck, at the end of the day I can always put a Dimcore in an assist slot, and I can just put something else there. Or if I at least get it to Mythic, I can use an Ancestral or something like that. Like there's a few different directions that I can go. But I'll probably say realistically, like now I'm clocking into tier 18. Tier 18, I feel like a tier 18 farm will greatly improve the same way that tournaments will improve at the same time. Like they will both go up together, because I'll just be now searching for player power. Like I feel like I've only got, on the econ side for low hanging fruit, I feel like I've got this extra quant and death wave, and then or maybe GT plus, and then we might be pretty good.
Go to, if you can, go to your tournament stats.
Or do you mean from the run history?
Yeah, just for the run history. And just the tournament we've just had. Just open it up and just have a look at the damage.
We'll go to this last one, and then I'll go to this one, which was the highest wave. Damage dwelt. 40.5 AB. That was the one that we just did.
Now go down to the damage, to that part. This is the thing I saw Ryan do, I think, and it was really good. You have a look at your total damage dealt, and then you have a look at how much was from projectiles, how much was from rend armor, how much was from death rays, how much was from thorns. And then in your head, do a percentage calculation. So you've got a total there, don't know what the screen lag is, but you've got a total of 40 AB. Of that 40 AB, just have a look, almost half of that has come from death ray, and the other half has come from chain lightning.
Oh, there it is, death ray.
So for these battle conditions, that's done almost all your damage. So if you were to invest in anything, that these battle conditions and the setup you had, they're the two where your investment would be to get a better tournament for these same battle conditions. So you're seeing that, like, okay, you look at your orbs. Your orbs have done 100 AA, which is way more than landmines, which is way more than smart missiles, which is way more than inner man mines. Poison swamp, they've done nothing. Death wave, they've done nothing. Black hole's done a bit. So you can use that as a guide of where you might invest for, if you want a better tournament performance. The only thing you got to think of is that that's for those specific battle conditions and however you had it configured. So if you do a couple of runs and then you compare those figures, that gives you a really good guide as to what works for what battle conditions.
Yeah, makes sense. What's your main damage deal? Is it spread across like multiple ultimate weapons, or is it mainly focused in on one?
So in that run, same as yours, I've got 1700 2,744 waves. That's a total of 55 AE. Of that, Death Ray, 18 AE. Orbs, 25 AE. Chain Lightning is 1 AE. And Inner Landmines is 5 AE. So to be fair, most of the damage has come from Death Ray and Orbs. So this is a concept we were talking about, or Ryan was actually talking about in one of his videos, about he was disenchanted with the developers because there's all these stone sinks in your ultimate weapons, but at the end of the day, they don't do that much for you as a percentage. Things like orbs, and electrons and those sort of things seem to do a Death Ray just as much damage. They do more than all the ultimate weapons put together collectively.
And it's just a card.
Hence, that's what. Yeah,
it's just a free
and you
card.
keep going back. You keep going back into invest in modules. Like if I look at like a coin bonus of different things, you got your disable ad pack, that's 150, your starter pack 2, your epic pack 3. If I look at the two things that make the biggest difference, dissident runs are in there at 5 point something. Modules are in there at almost 9. So people look at coins and they think, oh yeah, I've got to have all these other things in different stuff. The difficulty tier, like themes, they're 1.9 something. Relics, they're 1.8 something. The epic pack is 3. Modules are almost 9. That's more than the others added together. So that's where you look at, okay, how do I invest at things? That's one of the best spots to go for looking at where you should invest. So on yours, if you just go down to, the coin bonus, have a look at that.
Hey, I've lost some. Where's my other ones gone? Oh, I know what I did. Module 2.6. There, whoops.
Cool. So your modules
2.7.
2.6. Now have a look at your dissident.
Dissonant bonus 3.8.
So for you, I could see, my biggest investment would be, let's do lots more dissident runs. I could bump up that number quite significantly. You could break that up to 4 with a bit of effort in your dissonance runs. That's your biggest coin multiplier. Modules are going to come from, you've got to sink stones and lab times into it because you've got to get that multiplier efficiency going. You can't change cards, you can't change themes, you can't change relics. You can change your enhancement bonus. That's from earning more coins. But from you, the low-hanging fruit is going to be that dissonant coin bonus. You spend time on just doing utility dissonant runs, respec to do them, and you'll get paid back because you'll be able to bump that number up, and that'll boost your overall coins.
And there's a lot of crossover there with there's a lot of crossover there with stuff that's tournament based too, eh? Because it's almost like it's a milestone tournament run in itself. So what is my tier 18? 3.1.
So some of that too is the Echo Lab. For me, I'd just be having that Echo Lab running constantly in the background.
Yeah, I'm pretty much at the stage now where I think I can afford, like, here's how my runs have been going. $69, $70, $67, $67. Like, that is a massive jump. Last week it was $50. So last week it was $50, I think. I'll have to check. But that's a massive jump in the course of a week, just from getting those 2 masteries.
So when my labs look like I have the workshop plus coin discount, all 3 of them, they are now just permanently going. Because there's such a coin sink into that workshop plus. Those 3 labs, I think you get 20% if they're all done. And that's a massive difference when stuff starts costing S level coins.
Yeah, hard out.
So that just keeps running in the background until they're done. And then I'll just have 2 other labs that I'll put whatever else is going at the particular time.
They're really long too, eh?
They're long, and you've just got to.
Just trust the process, see.
Crowbar Zero early days did another interview with a guy, one of the first players, and he got a long way ahead. But the reason he got a long way ahead, remember that there was no auto lab and there was no, times multiplier, so there were no cells. You couldn't do it by 5 speed, 6 speed, etc. The first things he did was just do his coin multiplier and discounts on labs and lab speed. And he just had the boringest tower you'd ever seen. He didn't do anything else. He just committed to doing that for the next year. He just play in the background, but he didn't muck around with anything else. He just let those runs consistently until they were all done. And then in 12 months' time, he was actually a jump ahead because he could have way more labs done, way more economy for all of those, and had them all finished before the other guys are still fiddling around, flip-flopping from one strategy to the next strategy to try and get a minor improvement. It's really that long-term,
yeah.
How am I going to make the most economy?
Like setting something in your brain and then just executing it, and just like making sure that you achieve that. Like, that was my main goal when I switched to Orbless. Like, it was very much that sort of thing. Like, so I'm doing Blender. I try to move up to tier 12. I do tier 12, and then I realize that I need a lot of EHP to move up into those tiers. And then when I kind of just calculated things and realized like how much EHP I needed, then I was like, okay, let's switch out. We're going to have to go a different route. Because if I'm going to invest in stones and time and coins, this isn't for me. So then it's like, okay, maybe I need to begin the transition to Glass Cannon. And then like, what is the way to move to Glass Cannon, or what's the step before it? And then I switched to Orbless, and then got Orbless to a point where econ damage equaled econ. So it didn't matter whether I was upping my damage or upping my econ, it all meant the same thing at the end. It's kind of like what you were talking about earlier, like it just feeds itself. Like, it doesn't matter which version you're doing, either way, you're achieving more. And then prepared to swap to Glass Cannon. So that was like over the course of, I want to say like 6 to 8 months that whole transition took. Like, it was just a slow burn moving over to that sort of transition. And I know there's ways that things could be done faster. Like, there's obviously like You know, it's one of those situations where not every tool requires a hammer, but there's ways that you can make 99% of things a nail. So there's like faster ways to move that transition. But I think for where I was in the game and that made the most sense, doing it that way. And it just made the transition seamless. Like, we're working with XL Daily at the moment into helping him make the steps to move over to a glass cannon build and go that sort of direction. So he's just finishing.
How long
up.
have you been playing for?
Just hit. So he unlocked GT Plus on his his first birthday. So his towers just turned 1.
So does he pay you like in beer for advice?
Pays me in the Gluck Gluck. Gives me the Gluck Gluck. No, it's just a mate from work. So we're always, I think for us, bro, like, it's a good way to tap out of work.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, one of our departments, my department will cause his department a headache, or somebody will crash a forklift on my side, and we have to take it over to his department, and then, you know, hey bro, can you get a hold of these fellas? They need to come in and check out this and da 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 da. And then anyway, now that that's over, fucking how's the tower?
How's that new bloke who joined and had only just started? You got him playing?
I actually haven't seen him at work. There's just different rosters at the moment, but I haven't seen him. I've been meaning to catch up with him and see how he's getting on. Hopefully he's doing good. He was pretty hooked, when I'd seen him. He was pretty fucking hooked. Like, but he's the type of individual, like I said, like, you know, we're all got a bit of a screw loose. I could see it when he like, I've showed him my tower, and we were just like, me and the boys were having like a bit of a laugh. Like, yeah, check this shit out. And then I was like, oh, hold on a minute, and I turned all the toggles on. We see all the lights and all the shit's flashing around, and I just seen the look in his eyes. He was like, whoa, what's that game? Whoa, what's that game called? Where is it on the App Store? Is it this? Is this what it looks like? I could just see his like mind was like instantly captivated from it. So I gotta catch up with him and see how he's getting on. But when I seen him the next day, yeah, he was full on buzzing on it.
I reckon the next short I want to see on YouTube, I want to see you in a meeting room. So I want to see you with your work gear, with some boys down there, and I want to turn around. I want to see a presentation on the screen, and I have the tower on there, right, boys, with the pointer. We're doing this strat. We're putting this here. We're putting that there. That for 5 seconds on YouTube, it'd be sensational.
Or something like this, something like the boards down there with the CEOs and shit, and then they're talking, doing big budgets and projections, and guys, we need you to pick this up. We need to increase this by 3%, and then you just scroll the camera down there. It's just playing the tower underneath the table. Everybody's like going ham, like, you know, because so a lot of the people in the industry that are way at the top, they started at the bottom and they've worked their way up. So it's a very harsh environment, and it rewards people who I think the word, so they have a coach that comes around and visits us, I think yearly or 6 monthly or something like that. I think the word he likes to use is approach people and do things subjectively. But I think that's his polite way of saying, you know, you do what has to get done at all costs. Like, it's a very harsh industry. And if you're not that way inclined, like you can't flip a switch in your brain and let that dog out when it needs to come out, it chews people up. Like, you can see straight away when, like, people like people that are rough around the edges. Like, you might not be the most polished person, you might not be the most computer savvy, you might swear like a sailor, but there's something about it. It's like, okay, well, you're gonna fit right in because we're all like this, you know. And if there's somebody who's a super straighty, he might be like an A-class student, but he's a super straighty. There's, I wouldn't say like a level of distrust, but there's like we kind of like know how we all operate, how someone with the same psyche as us operates, and you get cautious of people that don't operate that way. And like, that's a good and a bad thing, you know. I suppose for somewhere in there it can create nepotism, you know, because you're looking for individuals that operate like a mirror of yourself. So I suppose it can create a bit of nepotism and that sort of thing. But there's just shit that we have to do that you have to rely on the right people that are willing to go like over and above. Like, otherwise man, like, you got hundreds or thousands of jobs at risk, you know. Like, if you fuck up and you don't, you know, deliver or get things done, it's their families that will starve. Like, as much as like a bunch of the operators won't like a bunch of stuff that gets done, you know, the main goal is keep the fucking lights on. Otherwise, it's not just us that starve, it's their families too. You got hundreds and hundreds of people's livelihoods are at risk of if you make an adverse decision. But yeah, it's a pretty harsh.
How long have you worked there for?
I've been in the meat industry for almost 20 years.
Yeah, okay.
It was a completely different beast though when I started. Like, completely different beast. Like, I think my second... Oh, well, like, when I first started there, nobody talked to me for 2 weeks. Because you're just a piece of shit. You know, look at this little piece of shit. You know, I had our supervisor was like 6'4", like, spent his whole life playing senior A's. He used to walk around, like, you wear your whites because you're killing shit, get covered in blood and that. You're wearing your whites. He used to... They bring out hard hats and coloured hard hats to identify foremans. So when auditors... It's just like a requirement for exports and shit like that. That there needs to be a way to identify foremans and supervisors and people of different categories in the operation and that. So he got given a hard hat, chucked it away. This dude's like mid-60s, chucks it away. He comes back the next day and he's got a painted German army helmet, and he's painted it the red colour. So the hats that they brought out were red. He comes back with a fucking German army helmet. He gets his whites. His whites are like long sleeve. He rolls his sleeves up and he puts a red band around here. This is like my introduction to this dude. And he'll walk down the chain, and if you weren't doing your job the correct way or up to his standard, he'll get the first thing he's close to and he'll wrap it around your head. I think one of the first things he said to me, he called me like a black nigger or something. And I was looking at him like, you can't fucking talk to me like that, you fucking cunt. Like, you know, I'll fucking stick you, you old cunt. And then I look around and everybody's looking at me like, yeah, you black nigger. And then I'm like, oh shit, okay, this is the environment. This is how we get down. And then nobody speaks to me for like the first couple weeks until I get moved on to another job. I get put onto another job with this other crew, so kind of like a bit of a step up. Like, oh yeah, turning up, you look like you got a bit of form, here, we'll teach you these harder jobs. And my first day on that job, I stopped the chain, like big processing line, I fall behind, I push the emergency stop, you know, to get me an extra 15 seconds or something so I can catch up. And then everybody looks at me, and the dude that's training me gives me this look, and he goes, "Don't stop the chain." And I was like, sweet, kindly noted, you know, keep it in my head. I go upstairs for my smoko break, and there's already the biggest, blackest guy that you've ever seen in New Zealand standing there waiting for me, grabs me, picks me up off my feet, slams me into the lockers, and says, "If you ever stop that chain again, I'll fucking smash all your teeth out." And it's sweet, kindly noted. And then what that did is, all of us that started or came in that time, we carried on that same mentality. So then you do it to the next kids that come along. You know, the next kid starts, "Hey mate, what's your name? Fuck off. Don't talk to me. Talk to me in 2 years when you'll survive this." And then it just creates this extremely harsh culture. And then the people that excel in that environment get promoted up, and now they become the foremans. And then it's like this ongoing thing. But like the difference is now that all of us are the seniors, because all the other seniors have slowly moved on over time, is now that we're all the seniors, you don't have to go to that sort of length, because it's all about controlling people. Like you're jamming hundreds of people into a box, and at any stage they can disobey you, which costs the company money or risks your export license. So you have to control people and get them to do what you need them to do, and then they better do it with a smile on their face or else. So it's, as much as it's in the industry of the meat industry, it's more in the industry of dealing with people. That's kind of like the byproduct is the meat that's produced, but it's really in the industry of people, because it's symbiotic, the relationship between the two. But people that excel in being able to control other people, and I don't mean it in like a psychotic way, like how the foreman was when I started there, that his way was he would beat it into you if you didn't do it. You don't have to go to those lengths, but you know, getting people to do this unnatural kind of job, it's a bit of a skill set in itself. But the only problem is all the people that are good at that sort of stuff, they obviously get promoted up, and then that skill set gets diluted across the years of people that are, you know, operate in that sort of way. Like, you just get like a diluted skill set.
So two questions for you, mate. Are you going to stay there very long? And two, would you encourage your son to work there?
Nah, I'd never ever on planet Earth want my kids to go there. I would never wish that on them, because the money's good, and then they'll get trapped. Because that's how heaps of people have lost their sons, where they could have been anything, but they waste their life in the meat industry. But for myself, I'll do a similar line of work, but if I ever leave this plant and I don't go to another one within the same company or opposition, I'll never go to another meatworks job again. It's just an unhealthy way to live. Like, I have to be myself, like when I'm with my family and in my happy place, but then when I turn up to work, as soon as I scan through the gate, now I gotta play manager, and I operate in a completely different mindset. And it's probably just not an ideal way to live your life, I suppose. Like, you know, you imagine, like, at the minute you step through the gates, your cortisol levels instantly up. You're instantly, like, on point. Like, as soon as you touch base with all your team, where's this, who's doing this, who put this where, who have you got on this job. Like, you're just like amping for hours on end, and then you have to finish that environment and then come home and then try to not be so amped up. And it's like it's switching you between these two different modes. And like, for the most part, like, the person that you are, like, what do you call it, like your core principles and that is still there. You're still the same person, but you're like not operating like, kind of like you're operating like under alter ego. You know, like the way that you operate in that sort of environment is definitely not how you want to be operating at home. And anybody that does take that same mentality home, I feel sorry for their family.
They wouldn't have one, would they?
Because, you know, they're probably going to be a miserable pricks. And there's plenty of people that were like that. Like, my wife's father is a classic example of it. He spent his whole life in that industry. And he is an extremely hard man. Very hard man. Because that mode never leaves. You're 24/7 in that mode. Whereas like with me, it's like tap in and tap out of both sort of things. And then I suppose that's just where I excel in it, is I understand the difference between business and work. Like, can be hard on people at work, and then I see them at the pub and they go, wow, he's really nice outside of work. And it's like, because that's just work. I've got a job. Like, if you want to hold a grudge, that's your monkey. You know, because anybody that knows how to keep things separate or just understands it's just work. At the end of the day, there's a job to get paid, that we're all getting paid to do. And there's a bigger picture at hand. You know, got to get everybody paid, got to get everybody home. You know, people turn up to work, not turn up to get their fucking legs cut off. You know, the only reason why we turn up to work is so you can get paid and the company can keep the lights on, and then hopefully outlive the other companies that are our competitions in that. I think where the biggest adjustment would be is if I switch over to a different industry, is tailoring my approach to a different style of workforce. But I think like a lot of it comes like down to your adaptability, and then a lot of it comes down to my adaptability as a child as I was growing up. Because I was forced into situations where I had to be acutely aware of what's going on in home, because that can be the difference between you're having a good night or your sister's dad's off to jail and your mum's all fucked up in the corner sort of thing. So it's like that a situational awareness and how you adapt to things. I think there's a lot of carryover. Like, you do meet some of the best people, and then just as well as you meet some of the best people, you meet some of God's worst people that he's ever created. Like, you meet some fucking shockers. Like, you can't believe that some people are the way that they are, or who the fuck touched you as a little kid that made you that sort of person. Because you meet some fucking shockers. Because you don't discriminate, eh? Like, it's not a glorified job, so you hire people from all walks of life. So, and because of that, you get some absolute munters. But like, my uncle's a big shot over in Aussie, that he started out in the meat industry. And then he started out in venison, and then he moved over to pet food, and then he took that pet food over to Aussie, and then he built a lot of success out of his own company in pet food, and then he ran some big beef chains over there, and then they recently sold their holding company for 500 mil, and then now he just kicks back. He asked me a few times to go over to Aussie, because he said, like, the thing is you can hire people that have shit on paper, that you know can do the job, but there's a level of trust that you have with people that you've either grown up with, related to, or you've worked next to, like you've bled next to them. So like what he did is when he started, he got massive funding from, they started a holding company, and then he got massive funding with a bunch of shareholders jumping in, and he basically got enough funding to set up a bunch of plants for pet food, processing chains, and they'll do kangaroo and shit, turn it into pet food, but he had nobody to run them. So he did a bunch of interviews, and he's like, yeah, these people are all good on paper, but what the fuck does that mean to me? You know, so what he actually did is he flew back to New Zealand, and he went to the original plant when he started out, when he was a little girl, and he went to the original room, and lo and behold, the same fellas that were there when he was a little girl were still there working. So he went up to them, and they said, oh mate, you know, fuck, haven't seen you for fucking 20 years, all that sort of shit. Heard you're a big shot over in Aussie. He goes, yeah, doing alright. And he said, I tell you what, I got an opportunity for you lads. He's like, all you have to do is say yes. I'm setting up a bunch of plants over in Australia, and I need some guys that I can trust to run these plants. You don't have to be an academic. You don't have to be the smartest person. You don't have to know how to use all the computers and that. You have to understand the industry. You got to be a hard worker. You got to be fucking loyal to me. He said, all you got to do is leave now, say yes, don't worry about your families, don't worry about your house. I'll have people take care of everything. You'll be going over to a house, I'll set you up, have your contracts, everything. All you have to do is say yes. And then he said to me, ask me what those guys are doing now. I said, what are they doing now? He said, they're all millionaires. They all run plants for me. Now I'm moving them out into other operations that we've got. Because he had worked next to them. You know, he had bled next to them, and he knew that these guys were solid, hard-working family men. And people like that will never let an opportunity like that go to waste. They will never backstab you. They'll never let you down. They'll never lie to you and give you false numbers just so your report looks better for the board. They'll do whatever it takes whenever you call. And now he just does nothing. Now he flies like to Hampton Downs in New Zealand to watch somebody else drive a race car that he doesn't even know. You know, he just buys a race car and then gets some other cunt to drive it, and then gets to say, hey, that's my race car, and then fly back to Aussie and that.
You know, for a small country, there's some really smart cookies in New Zealand, I'll tell you.
I think a lot of it, like, in New Zealand is, like, a lot of it's, like, heaps of people are poor, bro. Like, and I mean, like, that's, like, we're not talking about Malaysia level poor or Philippine level where people, you know, you're sifting fucking weeds out of garbage-filled rivers. Like, I just mean, like, there's a level of resourcefulness that you have to tap into when, you know, everybody's hungry and whatever, and then you just have to try to turn a shit into a piece of salad. And there's heaps of people that are wired that way. So my old man, so that's my uncle's story. My old man's polar opposite. Extremely conservative, extremely intellectually smart, that sort of thing. So they're completely opposite people. Like, one's the black sheep, gave a nudge at the world, it turned out well for him, and then my old man's like way on the other side of the spectrum. Like, they're just completely different people in that. But, like, I remember when I seen him, like, I hadn't seen him since I was a little girl, and he's kind of sitting across the table, and then he says to me, what do you do with yourself? I say, I'm just in the meatworks. And he said, nothing wrong with that. And then that's when he started going into his origin story, because I don't know him from a bar of soap. Like, I've only met him like once or twice, sort of thing, like when I was a little girl, so I don't really know him. And then he's like, You know, turns out he's like, well, I made fucking 500 mil from Meatworks. There ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, I started at the bottom. And, yeah, so he's got a super interesting origin story. Went from sleeping in stables, kicked out of home as a kid, to, go conquer the world. Or his version of conquering the world.
Yeah, I come to probably the last 8 years, I reckon. Every year we go to NZ, go for a holiday, tour around.
Which part do you go to?
Stop. Oh, somewhere different each time. It's usually to do, a bit of touristy stuff, but go for some of the walks. Like some of those great walks you got are really sensational. You got all the dock huts.
Yep.
That little infrastructure where you can just go out.
Don't have to worry about getting eaten by a mountain lion, eh? You just go.
Yeah, there's no mammals.
You just know nothing's gonna eat you, or it's not like, hey, you gotta take the spray because of the bear's gonna fuck you up, and you just get to enjoy nature.
And if I want to protect myself, I just bring a plastic snake and I'll throw it at the nearest kiwi, and he just goes running.
Go running.
But it's like, fantastic. The only thing that gets me, I would maybe move there, but the number of natural disasters and problems and shit like that happens, like it happens every year.
Yeah,
there's a flood, something gets wiped out. There's an earthquake, something gets wiped out.
Yeah.
Fires, something
my
gets wiped
region
out.
is my region's flooding. Always floods, like fucking all the time. Like we haven't had a big one in like a year or two, but like, bro, just floods. Like where the earthquakes are, they're enough to definitely feel them and get scared, but they're not enough to like lift your house from the foundations. Like we're not at that part, but the part where we are, where we're definitely floods, but then we're also close enough to the mountain that if that ever erupts again, it'll probably affect us, because I lived in a city that was like 2 hours away from the mountain, and we're about 2 hours in the other direction, like now where we live. And when that thing blew its top, I remember being at school and just seeing it, all the cars covered in ash and all sorts of shit. So yeah, we're kind of just surrounded by a clusterfuck of geo activity around here. But now we've also get tornadoes now. Fuck knows where they come from. But now we get tornadoes, bro. And the closest tornado that happened down here was about 25 minutes away. Fuck that whole town up. Tornadoes. When the fuck did they exist? Now we get them every year. Can't believe it.
And the other thing is, like, you got a lot of, like, especially South Island, there's like one road, and if that road gets wiped out, it's 10 hours to go around the other way to get to the other side.
Yeah, South Island's super interesting. Like, South Island, how the South Islanders and the pace of the South Island is how my hometown used to be when I was, like, growing up, and, like, when I moved back here as a teenager, and that, like, the vibe is very, very similar to was very similar to how the vibe in the South Island is. Now, the vibe in my town is extremely active. Like, it's like a rat race now, as heaps of people from the city are spilling over into this area and that sort of thing. But, like, I love the vibe down south. It's like the cars are 10 years older, the roads are 30 years older. Like, it's just like going to a snapshot of the past. There's heaps of people that still don't mind walking uptown barefoot. Don't mind a good weekend is having a barbecue and a beer with some mates around a bonfire and that sort of stuff. Whereas, like, up here, it's just everyone's keeping up with the rat race. But my hometown originally used to be like that.
I was down at near Invercargill, and we had this spare little bit of time. So we went for a drive out. There was some little walk, you go up some hill or something. And next to it, there's these underground caves. It's just an entrance. There's caves down here. And I just say, oh, yeah, I'll go in there, take a head torch. This cave goes for like an hour or something. There's no exit. There's all these little things. It's just open to the public. Yeah, go in there, go for a walk down a cave. No worries, underground cave. Can't see nothing. Don't know where anyone goes. No signs. But yeah, it's all right. It's all good, bro. Just go for a walk in the cave. Have a look. It's just awesome.
There's heaps of glowworm caves and stuff around here too. Like, that you're surprised that a bunch of cunts haven't fucked them up and carved their names into it and all sorts of shit.
Oh, someone's asking about snow.
Yeah, I was just reading that.
It's snowing at Queenstown at the moment, isn't it? I got a mate who's going there next week.
When is the season? Yeah, I think my mate just come back from Canada for the season, so it must be booting up. I
got a mate who goes there next week.
Got fucked from COVID, eh? Like ever since COVID, and everyone become poor. Like a couple of the slopes have just been decommissioned. Like the companies have gone under.
Oh, look, you can't. That'd be something really hard to manage, eh? Where you, like, people who ski in the Northern Hemisphere, they don't understand what it's like down here. Like, you might have snow, but it's not that great. Like in Oz, they got to make man-made snow. This season is so short and it's so unreliable. I don't know how they do it. Like, for you to build ski infrastructure on a hill, and they're way up high, you go to the Remarkables or Cornet Peak or one of those, that's a lot of gear they've got to take up there. The roads, they've got to build the power, they've got to get up there for the chairlifts and everything else like that. And then, you know, you might have a 1 month, 2 month season. You know, because you got no snow for that year, or it's too hot, or that type of thing. Just don't get it reliable enough to have a good, solid ski industry, I reckon.
Super expensive for, like, us locals. So you're heavily reliant on the tourism to pump it up. And just the...
Well, I reckon...
You go.
I reckon Queenstown makes more money out of mountain bikes than it does out of ski.
I've never been to Queenstown, eh? I've always wanted to go.
It's awesome, love it. It's like Action City. You know, I think that's where bungee jumping started. AJ Hackett's bungee jumping.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Off a bridge. Yeah, it's off a bridge off one of the rivers there in Queenstown, and then the jet boating and all that sort of stuff.
And we haven't killed too many people bungee jumping in New Zealand. We've got a pretty good record. I think there's a few countries that have killed people. We're pretty well versed in bungee jumping. There's quite a few of them. The local one that's near my side is about half an hour away. That one recently closed. But that one had bungee, had the flying, like those flying foxes, but you sit in it like a glider. You know, you're kind of like lying in this cocoon-looking thing, and it'll go all through the valleys and that. And that one recently closed. But some dude will come to this country with a shitload of money, and he'll just open it all up and own the whole thing. Like, it'll just happen eventually. It'll bounce back, the numbers will be there, and some overseas dude will just come in and cream it all. It's like this Asian syndicate that set up all the booby bars, all the titty bars owned by this Asian syndicate.
Yeah, I went bungee jumping at Tarpo, Lake Tarpo. That oh, geez, that made me sick, hey. My sons are doing it, and they con me into doing it. My sister did it. Come on, Dad, you got to go. Yeah, Dad goes up. I'll do it, no worries. Get down the bottom, get off. Oh, you did that well before? Yeah. Get up the top. Oh, God, I feel sick. Oh, fuck, somebody take me home.
Yeah, I can't do heights, like, at all. Like, I never used to, when I was younger, I never used to be afraid of heights. And then one day, flew to Aussie, flew back, and the plane that we come back on was like this Polynesian Airlines or something like that. It was fucking tiny. Like looked like one of like JR's like cocaine smuggling planes that he used to do his cocaine cowboys with. And we hit this crazy ass turbulence. And I've never like to this day experienced turbulence like it. But like, bro, there's like, people flying up, hit the roof, fucking babies crying, women screaming, plates smashing, fucking, it was wild. And then ever since then, and it's not like since that moment, but over time, any time I got somewhere that was high, and by when I say high, I mean like even like the roof of the house, I would notice I'll start like clamming up, like start getting sweaty hands, armpits start sweating, start getting vertigo. And then it was kind of like ever since that moment, anything to do with heights is just an absolute no-go for me. Like I'm the one that gets vertigo and feels like I'm gonna vomit when I see those videos on Facebook, like those shorts on YouTube where somebody's jumping across like one skyscraper to the next and they do all that shit where they dangle off it. That makes me want to vomit when I see it. Like that's how bad my heights problem had become. I'm a sissy boy when it comes to heights.
I'd like to hear Junior's take on if he ever get a chance to fly into Queenstown, because that plane, as they land in there, they get so close to those mountains. It's so specky. But 3 times I've gone there, every time they've said, oh, look, we'll have to go around again. The weather's not too good. Oh, we'll go around one more time. If it's not too good, we're going to go to Invercargill. I go, fuck, that's a long bus ride to go from there back up to Queenstown.
Yeah, that's a big one, eh?
But it's never happened. They've always landed.
We had that when we went to LA. Something was jammed up, so we had to do a loop to wait for a slot. And fucking hell, bro. As far as you can see, just concrete. Couldn't believe it. Just staggering. I feel like that's heaps of stuff that like where heaps of Kiwis are missing, and like maybe it happens overseas, but like I feel like heaps of New Zealanders aren't worldly, and you don't even have to travel to other countries to become worldly. We've got the internet now, but don't keep up or see the other coin of how other places are, and then kind of realize how lucky we are down in this country. And they're just in this like little echo chamber of like where the small problems that we have to face, because it's all relative. It can feel like the biggest problem in the world in your life, but relative to what's going on around the world or other people's struggles that they might be going through in that, like you're extremely blessed. And I mean, I suppose like a lot of westernized countries are in that same position, but I definitely know for sure that heaps of Kiwis are extremely tunnel visioned into the here and now and what they see around them, and it kind of I don't know, it's kind of a shame. It's kind of a shame, but you know, you can't fix stupid, or you can't make people want to, you know, seek out information and that. I just find it extremely interesting, and maybe it's because I've been overseas that it's like a bit of perspective.
Yeah, most of the Kiwis I know are pretty they're pretty good. They're pretty down to earth, good people. But I guess most of the ones I've met are well travelled ones. Like, well, they've at least been over here, so they've experienced part of the world.
Or willing to adapt and evolve. Like, okay,
yeah.
Best step forward for me is to evolve. What does evolve look like? I need to do X, Y, Z. Okay, Mum, Dad, I'm off. You know, taking me and the kids, or I'm going to go overseas and go start my own family and that sort of stuff. And then whereas, like, a lot of the people that stay behind... Like, we've got heaps of, like, around here, we've got, like, heaps of 501s. Like, and I suppose, like, heaps of parts in New Zealand. You know, we've got heaps of 501s now. So, like, a lot of them look at what they had over in Aussie. Damn, I should have just stayed at that job, eh? Why did I get myself into so much shit? It's like, oh well, fuck, it is what it is. Because like, we've all got heaps of cousins that are over in Aussie and that. Aussie's like never struck a chord with me just because there's so many people. Like, so many people. Like, people on top of people. And it's kind of too much for me. But
see, the thing I find different is like just the distances. Like, we've got some specky stuff. You've got way more specky scenery, but we've got some specky stuff too. But the distance you've got to go to see it is phenomenal. And as soon as you move off the east coast a bit, like, there's no one out there. Like, it's so sparsely populated in comparison, and everybody is a farmer. Like, 99% of what people do out there is they've either worked for the council or a farm. And, you know, if they're working for the council, it's to support access to a farm.
Yeah.
And that's what all, you know, all inland Australia is. So it's very different out there. But the distances are huge. Like, you can drive from Auckland to Rotorua in 4 hours? Less than that. You can almost drive to Wellington in 8, couldn't you? That's halfway across the North Island.
Yeah.
All the way across the North Island.
I think I've done my city to Auckland, which is like, I think I did it in like 4 hours. So I'm about an hour and a half from Wellington, like northwards. And I did from our town to Auckland in like 4.5 hours. And that's like, yeah, you're way up from one end to the next.
So your distances are pretty short, hey?
Like, we drove from Sydney to Brisbane, or Sydney to wherever all those theme parks are. Gold Coast, I think.
Gold Coast, Brisbane, yep.
Yeah, we did that drive. Fuck me, you want to talk about a long drive staring at a straight line? Oh my god, I can't believe that. Yeah,
that's 10 hours. Yeah.
Fuck, that was unbelievable. It was just like just a straight line. It was like, holy.
That's nothing, bro.
It's like, fuck, this road doesn't end. What the fuck's going on?
People do that all the time. That's nothing, bro.
I could have looped New Zealand 9 times. It was like that on Norfolk Island. So my old man's got heaps of land in Norfolk Island, and we went over there once, and like, fuck me, man, I conquered that island, eh? Because like, you can't speed on it, like, because the roads aren't really built for it, and there's not really proper roads, and there's not really proper law enforcement. So you just get drunk as, just drive everywhere. You know, even if you were too intoxicated, you can't go fast enough to injure anything. You might kill like a chicken on the side of the road, but you know, you're not gonna do any serious damage to nothing.
And see, then you got Tassie. Tassie's really like New Zealand. Little towns dotted around the place, lots of big mountains. It's specky place.
Because all my siblings are over there.
Really?
Are over in Aussie. I didn't want to go over though. But like my we had kids, and you know what I mean. It's like, oh nah, I'll raise these kids here, and then once, you know, they get older, like, decide what we want to do. Like, I'm getting older now. Fuck. I'm like 37 next week. Like, a move overseas would have to be extremely calculated. Human Bulldozer says, good day, gents. Good day, big guy. Gonna do research NZ and Japan last on the list. Japan would be sick. New Zealand would definitely be a much slower pace. But if you're going for hitting the mountains and that, I suppose either. My friend just come back from Japan. and you go from a small town to a big city like Japan. Holy. I'd love to come to NZ one day. Just a long flight from the UK. Oh, 100%, bro. That's a long flight. That's a long flight. I wouldn't mind going somewhere in Europe. Probably somewhere where they don't have all those black people rioting. The amount of videos where I see where all the immigration problems and people are, oh, bro, I'm not going to France. I'm not going to Paris and getting stabbed by some fucking mobs of fucking Swahili immigrants or like people that have jumped borders. And yeah, we'll try to find ourselves a more low-key town where it doesn't have heaps of scammers and shit like that. But I'd like to go to those areas to see the scenery in that. "37 and you are old, bro." I'm so old, bro. I feel like my mind's younger than 37, but my body is definitely older than 37. It's had a hard life. All my joints are fucked. My wrists are fucked. Like, that's why I can't play like PC games for extended hours. Like, my wrists are just done. My joints are all hammered. I suggest UK if you're to come to Europe. However, Italy and Croatia are stunning. I can imagine, bro. I can imagine. And I think, like, at the stage of my life where I am, going to countries like that, I could really absorb the environment and the culture and get a snapshot of, I suppose, the history or what makes people tick over there. Whereas, like, let's say that I went over to those countries as a overseas exchange as a young fella and do a big tour over there and pick up seasonal work and go around a lot of countries in Europe, and that it would be consumed with just partying. Whereas, like, now I'm much older and I find enjoyment in other sorts of things. So, like, when I went over to the States, I was only 14 or 15 or something. So seeing a lot of the stuff that I saw, I'm in the mindset of a teenager. I'm thinking about, where do I cop me some buds? Like, how the hell do I get buds over in this country and not get arrested? Where do I get beer? How do I find out where a party is? You know, you're in a completely different headspace. Whereas, like, if I went to the same things that we saw over there, as with the mindset that I have now, I think I would, I would have taken a lot more away from that trip. And, like, my kids now are older too, that if we go on like a family holiday and that, they will probably take a lot more away from things because they're not at that age of let's go to a theme park. And I can't think of anything worse. I would rather shit in my hands and clap than go stand in a line at a theme park. I am not fucking going to no theme park. It'll just make me, I'll just get frustrated. All the people standing in line, pushing for this, bunch of fat people eating hot dogs and all that sort of shit. It'll just fuck me off. But I'll go happily stare at a church that's been there for 900 years and just soak in the architecture and the history of, you know, how many feudal lords walked these halls, and you know, what did that look like, and what the fuck was the world on when they created that buzz to go build this sort of shit. Like, I would take a lot more away from that sort of thing. But hopefully one day, like, at the moment, like, just full on in the rat race of just, like, doing shit with work, and that work's just full on. Like, we got a bunch of funding for some expansions to our plant. That comes with its own pressures. And then once those expansions happen to the other 2 departments that are on our plant, then the next expansion is happening to my department, and then how am I going to navigate that, like still operate while these heavy works are taking place. And there's just so much going on at the moment. And then like as well as doing what I can for the company that I'm a part of, I also have to think about personal, I mean this all sounds like softy, cringy as marshmallowy stuff, but I also have to find my own personal development and this sort of stuff, because like I said, I'm 37 and every year counts as far as building up my CV. So however many notches on the belt I can get, I kind of see it like it's a relationship between both sides. The way that I perform delivers numbers for the company, and my reward for that is like, obviously you get monetary rewards and that sort of shit, but my reward for that is how do I extract value, whether that's through further training or through notches I can put on the belt for my CV for when it comes to the next phase of the game, whatever that looks like. And most likely the next phase of the game is moving out of my hometown, which I wouldn't be happy with because I love home. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like it is what it is, and have to, I don't know, take opportunities to move into whatever comes up. Try to just fucking grab the world by the dick and twist it, and then figure out, see where it gets us. See where it gets us. So yeah, this is why a game like this is like where it's at. Because it could just idle in the background. Just turn the cloud phone on, have this shit idling in the background, and these little things that we do, like when we all catch up on these lives and that, it's a good little opportunity to tap out. Just mentally tap out from the rat race. Kill some shapes. Talk some shit. Theory craft about something. Laugh when somebody loses out on a patch, and then cry when ourselves get the short end of the stick on a patch, and then just go back and rinse and repeat and do it all again. And it's definitely like, you go.
In 10 minutes, I've got to go and tell my wife what I've been doing for the last 2 hours, talking to a guy across the ditch.
About killing shapes.
About killing shapes.
About killing
and
shapes.
Look, what have we achieved, mate? You came 6th tonight in the tourney.
Oh, yeah.
I think Taylor came 4th. Still looking good.
There's got to be a catch, eh? There's got to be.
That's pretty good for not doing much.
Like these guys down here, like this run earlier this week where I got 7th. I think I was sitting maybe 5th or 4th. It was like a bunch of the fellas underneath must have readjusted their build and then ran again, and it just went like logged in, and I was just like, oh shit. But hey, I'm happy with 7th. I'm happy with anything around 11 and under, because I think that's where my medium rank should be relative to the waves that I get. I'm pretty sure it's around that 11 mark. So I'm happy with anything around there. If I get worse than there, like obviously like the reward thing or something, but I think if I get worse than there, I think there's probably like a level of like mentally which it plays on you, and you're kind of like, ah shit, am I going backwards? And then all of a sudden that fucking, all of a sudden that credit card feels a little bit lighter, and you just look at it and you go, oh. So like there's definitely a bit of mental thing with it. That's why I think like when people talk about changing the tournament system to a global system where it's ranked, I think like from a game psyche perspective, it would make sense from a business decision to have the RNG lottery of a bracket, not only because it gives people that otherwise would perform shit the opportunity to get higher rewards, but also keeps applying that pressure to just keep etching forward and keep progressing. Like that level of competitiveness. Like, what other games do you guys play that are solo player game that somehow has some level of PvP in it? That's kind of like this. Like, it's a very odd game design, and it just works. Like, I suppose it just works. Like, I mean, it gets us turning up each week. I don't think I've ever missed a tournament. Like, when I did my first tournament, I don't think I've ever missed a tournament, even if I've just had to one wave it. I've showed up for the last almost 2 years. 2 years next month. I've showed up for like the last 2 years to every single tournament. I don't think I've ever missed one. I always laugh that at the end of this, when this is all said and done, the Tower community will have an ingrained twitch to check their phone every like 15 minutes to collect the gems. It'll be ingrained into us. Like, for a couple years now, I've been checking for gems. So it's gonna be like a twitch that I'll probably never be able to get rid of. Like, it'll be like wired into my nervous system to check my phone every 15 minutes.
Don't laugh, mate. I was at the dentist today. It was a long appointment, and halfway he said, "Oh, you want a break?" I said, "Yeah." Went and checked my phone, collected my gems, then sat back down in the chair.
I've done fucking fucked up shit. I've done fucked up shit when it comes to this game. Sometimes it's just escapism from life, eh? Life kicks you in the dick, and people be like, "Why are you tapping into the game in the moment like this?" You just feel like, fuck, sometimes life kicks you in the dick, and you're just like, I'm just gonna escape it for a couple seconds, even if it's just to check my run. Just to see how my run's going. Because that's all this stuff is, eh? It's just all escapism. Human Bulldozer
One
says...
of the other...
Go, you go.
No, I was going to say, one of the other things that got me in early in this game was the music.
Oh,
like, I don't
bro,
play
how
it
good.
now.
How fucking good is the music?
It's just haunting, and you hear it now on ads and things, and I go, oh, I got to go back and listen to all of that.
So good, bro. The shame you can't play it like on YouTube and that, because you get demonetized. Like, I won't let you run ads.
You got more than 1,000 now, so you can make dollars, yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Like, depending on how much hits my bank account, from the ads from this month, we should be able to do a giveaway. I'll have to wait to see once everybody's fucking finished sticking their dick in all my holes and take all their taxes out of it, how much comes through. But it should be enough to be able to do a giveaway, which I'll be super stoked with.
Yeah, because Google only pays monthly too, hey?
I think something like that, and then they have different rates versus if you're in US versus if you're overseas, like the portion that they take. And the strangest thing is I looked through my analytics today, and it said that like 70% of the revenue from ads was from skippable ads. So I'm assuming that that means that people that have YouTube Premium, otherwise they would have skipped it.
Isn't on YouTube Premium, they don't get any ads though?
Yeah, but you still get paid for it. So whatever ad would have ran against them.
So they class that as skippable, yeah, right.
So I'm assuming that must mean that a bunch of... So if you have a skippable ad and then someone skips it, you don't get any ad revenue off that. But if you have a skippable ad but someone has YouTube Premium, it counts as if they watch that whole ad. It was really interesting hearing, I think Bonzo was going over his analytics, and he was saying that his whatever metric that they measure it by, for the tower, it was like $22. So whatever that's fucking measured by per minutes or some fucking, I don't know. But then he was saying that the average for gaming in general is like $3 or $4. So it just means that, yes, the tower community's smaller, yes, the engagement's lower, but the engagement that comes through is much higher quality. So people
they're watching things for longer.
They'll generally watch it for longer, and if they don't watch it in one sitting, a lot of the time they go back to, like, I watch everybody's lives that I miss, but I just treat them like podcasts. So like they may have finished their live 6 hours before I wake up. I turn it on like a podcast and I just play it and then go about my life and then just like listen to it, because there's always like little tidbits and there's always like little funnies that pop up.
You mean like Tags today managed to slip in your joke about shitting your hands clapping? And mate, he thought that was the best joke in the world, and you were there when he did it, I think.
After he'd eaten out 5 guys, eh?
Yeah.
Wow, what a beast too, bro. He'd been like, I'm pretty sure in my day, I'm pretty sure he was streaming my whole day. So I was like thinking about like my whole day. Like I went to my daughter's sports game, went over to City, went and checked out a puppy, like, you know, just like shit that I've done in my day. And that whole window he had streamed. Like absolute beast. Absolute beast. Bulldozer says, I did 2 weeks in Egypt last year and the pyramids are fascinating. Fuck, I can imagine, eh? I reckon it can just like rot your brain sitting there just trying to process what buzz was somebody on when they decided like they were going to build that, and to the level of you know, to the level we all know about it. We all know about how hardcore that is. Bulldozer got 6th place with 1879 waves, bro. You are the human bulldozer, alright. 1879. Bro, that's an absolute beast. Trying a 155 meter range. Glass cannon run. Still intro sprint into 1760. Let's go. When I wake up in the night for a piss, first thing I click is Gem. Same. Bro, my phone goes everywhere with me. First thing I do when I get out the shower. First thing I do when I wake up. First thing I do fucking when I go to have a vape. Whatever I do. It's just constantly tapping in and tapping out. Tapping in and tapping out. And speaking of tapping in and tapping out, gents, at the 3 hour mark, I think that's about us. Now, if I've missed a bunch of your guys' questions or statements, I do apologise. Once I end the stream, I'm going to go back through and I'm going to scan over everything, so don't feel like that I've ignored you. We were just lost in the yarns, and it's been a super cool stream, and it's given me a bunch of things to think about as well, and hopefully having a bit of insight from PJ as well. If you guys don't know, here he is up here, not clouded. PJ the Beast, tier 24, wave 400, absolute beast. But he did bring up some interesting things. And then if you guys did miss a bunch of it, feel free to hit the rewatch. Anything before we sign off, PJ, that you want to say to the boys?
No, I'd like to thank you, mate, for inviting me along. This is a blast.
Anytime, brother.
You talk about you being old, mate. I don't even tell people my age anymore. I just say I'm older than the hills, but younger than the mountains. But, you know, this, for me, this is awesome. Thanks for the yarns. Thanks for the chats. It's just really cool. And like you said, super relaxing. Chill, bro.
Yeah, hard out. And you're more than welcome to jump on any time. And then I also know that if you're not on with us, then you're always going to be here. You show up each week, and I super appreciate you. I super appreciate everybody that's in chat too. I appreciate all you guys. Sounds cheesy as I know. We're not trying to get mushy here, boys. Not getting all gushy.
I feel a bit bad because we neglected a lot of the comments that were going through as I was watching them.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool. I'm sure the guys understand. I kept the eye scrolling on the chat and that, but I am gonna double back on your guys' comments, just in case there's some key questions that I can hit these back up next time. But gents, absolute epic stream. I had fun. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't pay much attention to my tourney. I just kind of let it do its thing. I was more interested in the yarns. But
focus,
look,
man. Focus.
Looks like we got a marshmallow bracket. Fucking look at that. So just for context for everybody, we'll say 1, 2, potentially 3. We'll look at this guy. Yep, so 3 spots. So looking at 300 odd waves to stay. 15, 16. I'd probably say 1, 2. We'll probably say around in between here for keys, somewhere between 700 and 900 waves. There's some big guys down the bottom, but there's also some lighter guys that still have to run but might not topple these guys. So looking at the average of the brackets and that, for the keys looks about average. For staying, probably slightly easier than average, but then obviously looking at this congestion, this clump around here where we're all kind of similar, this is probably where the lighter end of the bracket is, which helped us obviously get a pretty nice footing in it. So a bit of a marshmallow bracket, boys, and we will happily take them. We will never decline a marshmallow bracket. So gents, if you like what you see, you know the drill, fam. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification button so you can see when the next video is coming out, which will be tomorrow for the progress update. It's been a pretty quiet week, but at the same time, I think we're gearing ourselves up. I mean, can't really lie. How can it be a quiet week when we've had like a 30% jump on coins? It is not much of a quiet week, but I'll go over all that stuff tomorrow. I'll tell you what I spent my coins on, and then we need to come up with a plan for what's going to take us to 2027. And I think that's probably the smartest thing to do. And a little bit at the moment, got a bit of choice paralysis about where the direction that I'm headed and what's the best kind of way. But the good thing is there's a lot of low-hanging fruit there, brothers. So until next time, which is tomorrow, keep it clouded.